everyone. It is Sunday night and we are coming to you live from inside of Bat City Comic Professionals in Bradenton, Florida to help you wind down your weekend. As always, I'm your host Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, here to tell you about all of this week's latest and greatest in indie comics. But before I even talk to you about wine, I have to talk to you about this person sitting next to me.
There's a stranger!
There's a stranger!
Someone broke into the store! Call the police!
Stranger danger! No, this is the exciting thing we've been telling you about for like a whole month now. We've been so stoked and excited about this, but we have the Director of Sales for Ignition Press, Dan Crary, here with us this week. Woo!
Thank you for having me. Man, that studio audience going nuts out there.
No.
So happy to be here. I'm spending the week down here in Florida. It's going to be a wonderful time. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, Shannon. Long time viewer, first time guest.
Yeah. And before we get into all the things that I always say, since I mentioned it, that you're here with Ignition, what is Ignition for the folks at home who may not know?
Oh, Ignition Press is a brand new publisher in the direct market, soon coming to the book market as well.
Woo.
We publish creator-owned indie comics, all sorts of genres. We're doing romance, we're doing science fiction, we're doing a lot of horror, fabulous stuff. We thrive as the place where creators can really let themselves free. Tell that one story that they've been holding on to for years that they haven't quite found the home for. That's Ignition Press. We have wonderful things on the shelves right now. We've got Jeremy Hahn, one of our co-founders, has Murder Podcast and The Beauty. We've got Stephanie Williams, Roots of Madness. It's just been an absolute delight. We've got Leah Williams, no relation, but now they say they're sisters, on Voyeur, which is one of the sexiest books on the shelves. It's so much fun. Cullen Bunn has Deluge with us. He's also got another book called Ripcord coming out in the spring. I know we're going to talk about Deluge later.
We are.
Tim Seeley just had his first series drop with us, No Place. It's been great. And this Wednesday, the Miranda Brothers' new series, Arcadia #1, is out. So that's what we're going to be doing on Wednesday. If you live in the greater Bradenton, Tampa area, on Wednesday, come on down to the store. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be giving away this massive prize pack, and we've got some little goodies for subscribers that are going to go in your file. So if you don't make it down, don't worry, I'm going to leave a little something behind for you.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I was a huge fan of We Live, so I'm excited to see the Miranda Brothers, like, getting to play again in, like, a big series that they're excited about. And the colors on the cover and in that first ash can just are so vibrant. We've had a lot of people pick up that ash can and that have been, like, counting down the days. And when I told them that you were coming and bringing swag, they were like, people have rearranged their Thanksgiving plans to be here.
Well, so. I'll tell you now, live on air for the first time, the first original music that Roy wrote for the comic will be available on Wednesday, and we can probably play it over the speakers here too.
Nice.
It's pretty good, but yeah, that'll be in issue #1. It's gonna be great. I'm excited to see you guys. Come on down on Wednesday. But before we do that, we got some wine to drink. What are we drinking, Shannon?
We do. So, yes, the only way you can wind down your weekend is with wine. So, we are drinking Vidal Fleury, which is a Cotes de Rhone. And I'm excited. Never had this one. It's supposed to be like, it's 65% Grenache, 20% Syrah, 10% Mondavi, and then 5% Carignan. And so the GSM is kind of my thing right now. I'm like, that's like the wine that I'm really loving. So I'm really excited to taste this. So, it does have a nice florally smell.
Almost getting like black currant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a really jammy, but not jammy, you know? It's like, it's the flavor, but it's not, I don't have a sweetness.
Right, but it doesn't like cut,
yeah.
It doesn't like coat your tongue.
No,
with the jamminess.
Or the acidity that you sometimes get with that. This feels like a lower acid red.
Mm-hmm.
Botanic.
Yeah.
Botanic is a great word for it.
Yeah.
Really lovely color on this too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is good.
Oak.
Mm-hmm.
Good oak.
Yeah. And it says it's really good with red and white meats, pizza, barbecue, pasta, and cheese. I really love that they have started telling you that wines are good with pizza.
Oh, this is a great pizza wine.
Like yes.
This as a table wine at a nice, like, brick oven pizza place
would be amazing.
Oh, I'd be all over it.
Yeah. This would be an excellent addition to that.
You know what pairs well with pizza? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was like, comic
So
books.
we get a pizza, we get this wine, we You get some TMNT.
Everything's happening.
Your night's made.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of run out of hands at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to get one of those like stands.
A stand with a pointer that you can use to turn the pages.
Yeah.
Like a religious text.
Yeah. We actually used to have a customer at our Austin store that he only read books like physically, and so even when he'd get like he had a Fan 4 one, and he was like, if I'm going to read Fantastic Four, I'm going to read it in print. And so he had one of those tabletop lecterns and gloves and page turners, so he could actually like read high value books, because he's like, I don't read digitally. I'm not going to read a collection. Man. And it was fascinating. I could never do it. I would panic way too much. All right, we're going to be drinking this throughout the night. I'm going to slide mine into some form of less danger zone, but probably complete danger zone all at the same time, because thank you. That's perfect.
It's not like there's incredibly valuable comics underneath this glass here.
Right.
The spill could be catastrophic.
It's actually, I know, and it's like, that's not even what I thought of. I actually thought of just like knocking it down and shattering it on the floor. So it wouldn't be the first Wine Down Your Weekend where we've knocked the bottle down on the floor. Probably won't be the last. Before we jump into the comics, like Dan said, we do have our awesome Ignition Wednesday. We're going to ignite your creativity, ignite the spark, ignite all the fun around that new title, Arcadia. We also have creator meetup starting at 6 p.m. that Wednesday, which is this Wednesday. And Dan and our friend Alex, who is with Square Enix, will actually be here doing portfolio reviews. So if you have ever considered the comic career, or honestly, if you're like looking at animation or anything, you just want somebody to look at your art and be like, yes, this is great, or here's some pointers on how you could, fill that portfolio out a little bit. They're going to be here doing that on Wednesday night. We'll kind of like guide you through the process of getting to talk to them about your stuff. So come prepared with that portfolio, whether it's digital or print, whatever medium you work in, it's totally fine, but come prepared with that. We're really excited to have those.
One caveat for the professional portfolio reviews. Just one small thing. No pitches. Don't try to pitch me or Alex anything. As long as you don't pitch, we're great. But I can't take pitches. He can't take pitches. We don't want to see any pitches. So pitches be crazy. We don't want pitches. But I'm happy to look at anybody's art, talk about different paths. I want to hear about what things you're making. I want to see what you've made. So please come on in. Just don't pitch me a book. Yeah. Please.
Yes. Don't do that. And so we'll have that going on Wednesday. We will be closed Thursday and Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday. We will reopen on Saturday with our Small Business Saturday Sidewalk Sale. I'm going to tell you, every year we're bringing out some books and who knows what's in them. We honestly haven't had a single day to even look at them, so we really have no idea what's going out there. It's all going out there. It's all going to be $1. It's all going to be there for you. There's going to be, fill box deals and things like that. So that's going to be Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be outside in front of the store. And who knows what else will be going on. It's Small Business Saturday. Things are going to get wild. It's going to be fun. And so, that's what's going on at Bad City. Again, don't forget, closed Thursday and Friday. It's mostly important. That's like, don't come. Celebrate time with your family and friends, or however you celebrate the holidays. And now, you know what? Maybe the way you celebrate is with some comics. So we're going to talk about all the ones that came out this week that you need to add. Starting with Jenny Frizen's incredibly gorgeous cover of issue 16 of Hello Darkness from Boom Studios. If you have not read Hello Darkness, it's one of the mini horror anthologies on the shelf, and this is Boom's, contribution to that. What I love about this issue is it's kind of very like manga, like it's very Eastern in a lot of the stuff. The very first story in here is actually done by a mangaka, and it's all about a girl who has always wanted that happy romance, like love story, and she's like, but now that I have it, I'm kind of worried that he'll leave me and I'll like ruin the relationship or something. And so she's trying to figure out a way to ensure that he can be part of her for the rest of forever. And oh my god, it's gorgeous. Oh my god, it's so Junji Ito at the end. And then we have one that's called Torture Chamber, and it's a guy that maybe in a red room adjacent kind of situation, but we get to see all the torture that comes his way as he goes through this scenario, and it is hilarious. And the twist at the end is actually a little more funny than it is terrifying in this one. And then there's one about a girl who is very serious about her education. She refuses to do anything but study, and her friends are like, you need to go out and have fun. And she ends up insulting the psychic reader that her friend takes her to. And if you know anything about any horror movie, it is that you never insult the older woman who's reading your fortune, because that just ends bad. And so she starts getting haunted by the possibility of her own mistakes coming at her, and it's not great. And then lastly, this is the wrap-up of the story that R.L. Stine has been doing with Francavilla, about a detective who can travel into people's dreams and kind of solves mysteries inside of the dream world, and has suddenly been having the fear that he is going to face his own death, which he has been told if he dies 3 times in his dreams, he is dead in real life. And the nice twists and turns that R.L. Stine puts into this very much just feels like Goosebumps for adults, which is, you can't go wrong.
But what more would you ask for in a horror book?
Right. That's all I want is Goosebumps for adults, or just Goosebumps in general.
Yeah. I'd say Goosebumps is for all ages.
Truly. It is. It really is. We sell like so much Goosebumps to adults that you can't really tell the difference. And obviously Matt is a Goosebumps fanboy. We've got Gotcha Man issue 14 from Medkick. Did you ever see the Gotcha Man like anime?
Anime? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And some amazing dubs of it on YouTube.
Really?
People do fun stuff with that footage.
So do you feel like have you gotten to check out this comic? Do you feel that it actually like captures the spirit of the Gotcha Man show?
I have not actually checked out the comic.
Oh my gosh, you should. Sam Humphries is actually writing it right now.
Oh, really?
Yes, so it has a perfect superhero feel. If you don't know, Gotcha Man is the Science Ninja team. They are a crew of kids who have this ability to kind of work together and solve crime, and they are going against they're the evil bad guy. Well, in the last issue, he created these mech orcas that were going around and destroying all of the climate correcting facilities that the science organization had created. And so now the Science Ninja team has been trying to figure out a way to destroy all of those. But in this issue, not only are they having to deal with that, but they're having to deal with the first appearance of the new evil Blackbird team, which is actually made up, as if you've been following the team, of their former proteges. And it was all the people who were training to be the second squad who got tired of being second squad, the B team essentially, and they went out and became the bad guys. And so they kind of have that first moment where they have to see them, where we've been like, oh man, you guys don't even know that for this whole arc we've been dealing with this. And so they get that kind of coming their way in this issue too. We've got G.I. Joe issue 14 from Image, Skybound, and Your Inner John Universe, which is just, of course, your crossover of Transformers and G.I. Joe. This side over here, coming to you from Joshua Williamson, is every G.I. Joe fan's biggest dream come true. We are seeing so much of a fan service requel kind of mentality that Josh has been building in here. And in this arc, we're dealing with the fact that Cobra has stupidly left to go on his own mission, where he has now been attacked by the Dreadnoks. And meanwhile, Destro is like, great, he's dead because I set these people up to kill him, so I'm just going to sell off Cobra to the highest bidder while he's gone. Because that's what I do. I sell arms. Meanwhile, the only person who's out there who can actually, I love the paneling on this. The only person who's actually out in this desert place where the Dreadnoks are attacking Cobra is Duke himself. And so now the only person that's fighting with Cobra to save Cobra is Duke, they're allies together in this almost Mad Max kind of story that they're having to deal with just the most ridiculous, over the top battles and situations.
Love the color on this.
Color is really good. It's Jordi Belair.
Oh, sure.
Eisner Award-winning Ringling graduate, Jordi Belair. We're, hometown pride there with that one. But yeah, it's, of course, Jordi is always nailing it on colors. But such a good story if you're a fan of G.I. Joe. And honestly, even if you're not, I was never into the G.I. Joe cartoons. Transformers G.I. Joe was kind of, right before me. My brother's 4 years older than me, and that was his thing. I came in 83, and so, most of those shows had already, been around by the time I was TV watching age. But I've been really enjoying these, and I think that's just also really in part because Josh is really good at telling a story that everybody can get into, whether you know the characters or not. And so he's doing a really good job of building something to where I'm like, I recognize that name from the G.I. Joe thing, but I just also like this story.
I understand that reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one. Silverhawks, issue 10 from Dynamite. Dynamite has also been working really hard to bring us all of the cartoons of everybody's childhood, literally, like from the 60s to the 90s recently, and into like the early 2000s. But Silverhawks is the story of a group of these like specially trained operatives who are all bird themed, and they live in space and they fight against space monsters. And in the very first issue, we saw the original team get called back after like 40 years of retirement because their ultimate villain had escaped from prison. Well, that team was like kind of too old to go into action, and they did not make it. And so they had to build an entirely new Silverhawks team, and they've been dealing with that same bad guy, which is completely out of their league for being a new team. And they trusted one guy from another place to help them, who also seemed to want to take that bad guy down. Except we've saw in the last like 3 issues a lot of major double crossing, and people taking matters into their own hands in the wrong way. And this kind of brings us to a point where we do all of the tie-ups of like, where does everybody, like, what would happen? How could we, like, actually capture this person? And then what happens once you capture an ultimate bad guy who's already escaped from a major prison? Like, what do you do? And some of their solution options are kind of hilarious and amazing at the same time. Speaking of Dynamite bringing us those classic kid cartoons, we've got Herculoids. This is issue 10 as well, and this is the last issue for Herculoids, at least for now. I'm definitely wrapping it up. In this series, we've seen the Herculoids living on their planet, doing their best work to like keep it safe. But one of the alien races has come back and tried to put like the ultimate brain into the child of the Herculoids, like the mass knowledge of the universe. And they went out into space trying to save their child, only to find out like that there is a big giant space war throughout all of time, essentially, between these 2 different alien people groups, and they're now kind of stuck right in the middle of it. And in this issue, they both have to try to save their son and also kind of stop the bad guys, because this is the last issue, so they have to do all of it at one time. And we get to see that. If you're a fan of the classic cartoon, this definitely has a lot of the vibes of it, and yet still gives you a little bit more of like a modern art style and take on it. All right. Are you caught up?
I know Exquisite Corpses?
Are you caught up on Exquisite Corpses?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to tell them what Exquisite Corpses is about?
No. I want you to keep talking.
Okay.
I can't legally plug someone else's. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
We've got issue 7 of Exquisite Corpses from Image Comics and Tiny Onion. If you don't know, Exquisite Corpses is a battle royale for the control of America. There are 13 families who have essentially always had control of America, and each one gets to choose the ruling family by picking a champion every 4 years and actually sending that champion into a battle royale in a small town that's is randomly selected. And what I love about this book is I actually do not care about the battle royale at all. I am here for all the townspeople. Specifically, there is the sheriff left town and was paid off to essentially leave town before the first issue and started, and kind of leaves everybody behind so that they can destroy this town. Well, his niece is an EMT, and she's kind of like saving all the people that they're trying to kill, because collateral damage gets you more points. And she just like has to kind of figure out what's going on her own. And I'm loving her story and the fact that she's kind of bringing all these different people together and going against like the thing without any knowledge of what is actually happening. Meanwhile, they've gone full Hunger Games in this, and like in this issue they're like, oh, we're starting a fire over here, and the fire needs to push everybody in this direction. I'm like literally just waiting for Tynion to bring in like Tracker Jackers or something and like really make it a full Hunger Games. But so much fun. And actually this issue is the only one that doesn't have like our battle grid in it, because they kind of take a different approach to this issue, which is really cool, because of the fact that they do kind of lean in a different direction. We're gonna fill time for 2 seconds.
I have loved the rollout for Exquisite Corpses, the tour that they did. So smart, so great, so well executed. Big shout out to Jaslyn Stone over at Tiny Onion. She runs a
Heck
tight
yeah.
ship.
Cheers to Jaslyn.
Cheers to Jaslyn.
She's a rock star.
She is a rock star.
And it has been so much fun, and it's been really great. And what I love about this is, like, when we moved Bat City from Austin to here, like, when we opened in Austin, we opened 2018, we opened the physical location fall of 2019, and then of course, obviously closed because of COVID, but then when we came back, like, when we moved here, nobody here had actually been to had a regular comic, like a local comic shop that they went to all the time, and so they didn't know Something is Killing the Children. And so it's really cool because Exquisite Corpses has opened up people checking out Something is Killing the Children for a new market, which has been really cool to see people fall in love with James Tynion in reverse.
Yeah.
Like, that's been really awesome for us. It's like, oh, what else has he done? And it's like, oh my gosh, like, let me show you, like, Something is Killing Children. Let me show you Department of Truth. Let me show you, Wind. What? Wind is, like, that's always, like, my go-to, like, rec for James Tynion. That, like, I feel like people don't talk about enough anymore. We used to be like, Wind was, like, the big book that everybody talked about, and I think it became so wholesome or something, I don't know, that, like, people stopped talking about it, but it's so good.
You never stop, though. All you do is wind no matter what.
That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for. Shannon, I like watching this show at home, drinking my own wine, and listening to you talk about the books.
Oh, thank you.
I'll provide color commentary.
That's great. This one especially could use, has no color, so it might need some. News from the Follow, issue 6 from Image Comics. This is the wrap-up of this, and this is, from our buddy, Chris Condon.
Chris!
Yeah, I was like, I knew there would be a cheer there. If you did not read this book, you need to go get every single issue and read it immediately, or, like, have a pre-order for the trade paperback from your store, because this book is one of Chris's best things he's done. I
think it's March for the trade.
Is it?
I think it is.
That sounds right. This is, because it's ending right now, so that checks out. It is so good. This is all about, essentially, like, when they were testing, like, the nuclear bombs in the 1950s, they purposefully left people in the radius, and they used that bomb to actually essentially create a zombie-like outbreak amongst these people, and one guy survives it because he actually, like, put on his gas mask, and he actually survives it, only to have to, like, run to the town and have nobody believe him what's going on. And then we find out there's so much more to this story. Like, there's so many more cover-ups going on, especially if you read all the back matter. There's so many, like, different creatures and monsters that have come from this spore, essentially, that was released by this. The thing that is so incredibly great that you're probably seeing is that this entire book is done in shadow, not even just in black and white. It is done where you never see a single person's face. You never even see, like, the zombie type creatures. You don't see their faces. Like, nothing is shown other than these silhouettes, which works really well in this issue, because in the last issue, our main characters went into, like, a tunnel to try to get out of the area, and they're in the dark. And so it's really cool because what they did as a team is they basically wrote and drew that into, like, just speech bubbles in the darkness.
In pitch black.
And then you also know that, like, there's these monstrous things coming behind them, and they can't see, you can't see, and so the tension becomes even stronger for everybody, because you're like, I feel like something's in that room, but I can't see, and so you can't even be like, behind you, like, because you don't know. You don't know if there's something behind them. You're just like, something, maybe. And Chris did such an excellent job of writing it, where they're just like, are you there? Is somebody there? Who's there? And, like, there's, like, shots in the dark and all kinds of things that you're just like, what is going to happen? And the tension on this ending issue is so good. Shout out to this team, and seriously, add this to your list. This is going to be on those Fantastic Awards for sure. We're going to be talking about it, and hopefully we're not the only ones. Hopefully, Eisner Committee, you're talking about this in 2026.
Give Chris Condon his flowers.
Seriously, totally deserved. Lazarus Fallen, issue 6 from Image Comics. This is bringing back Lazarus from Greg Rucka. It's been on a hiatus for quite a while. And it kind of picks up, I think it tells you in here how long it's been, but I never remember. Because they do it by date. That's why, because I don't do math. It's like 1,100 days, basically, since Forever was created as the Lazarus. But basically, kind of in a similar vein of Exquisite Corpses, you've got these like ruling families from around the world that are all like these richest people. And they create these champions that are essentially these clones that they just build up to be their fighters. And at the end of the previous Lazarus series, Forever and Infinity Lazarus, kind of who were clones of each other, went rogue and kind of broke free from the family that they were fighting for. And now they've joined this resistance that goes against these rich ruling families and are trying to find like the way to bring them all down. But of course they're being hunted because they escaped from their family. And so we get to kind of see them build up like with the French resistance and kind of figure that out. We also see a different family like entering the ring in this issue and a new contender entirely joining the family. And so it's so good. And like, I didn't ever read all of Lazarus, and so I was like, can I jump into this and not be lost? And yes, because Greg Rucka does an incredible job of telling you the entire story, or at least his editor does, up here in the front, and gives you all of the breakdowns. So there's no, like, you 100% are like, oh, I read that. Like, I read that whole story, because it's such a huge breakdown. Great, you definitely should get into it. And I'm really excited because Matt and I have been doing Duolingo French, and one of the things I also love that this editing team does is they actually put the translations for all the French on the back page.
Oh.
Comic publishers, this is a great idea, because when I'm reading a book and it has another language in it, I have to Google image translate what is happening on that page, because obviously they chose to put those words in that story on purpose, but I don't speak every language. And so this is really great. However, I will say that thanks to my Duolingo, I could translate at least a whole page in this. And I was like, yay, I know what this says. It was the easy stuff, but I knew what it said. A win is a win. We take it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget your briefcase, issue 5 from Mad Cave. This has been a hilarious spy thriller comedy kind of situation. I'm so glad that this book exists. This is all about a young boy who's very nerdy and very sad and like really lonely, and he carries all of his stuff in a briefcase and wears a suit to school, and everybody makes fun of him. Well, his mom works at the White House, and one day he goes to visit his mom at work, and something tragic happens, and him and his mom end up like in a big, kerfuffle with everybody else in the White House, and his briefcase gets mixed up with the one that has the codes in it. The codes. And so, unfortunately for America, not only would that be bad in and of itself, but his mom is actually a Russian operative. And so now she has the ultimate briefcase filled with all the codes that America needs. And America's kerfuffle was a very big problem. And they kind of need those codes. And so they send out the woman who is supposed to be the commander, who's supposed to be in charge of keeping them safe, is now trying to go on her own mission without letting anybody know what happened to figure out where the case is. Plus, we get all the Russian spy hijinks and everything else, and it's really great. And I love the way they wrap this issue and this series up and in it, because it was so just like heartfelt and fun. And literally every time you're like, that is so absurd, nothing could get more absurd in this story, they're like, hold my briefcase, like, because it's about to get
comedy in comics is really hard. Elliot Rahal always pulls it off because he was a stand-up comic. He gets humor. Elliot was a stand-up comic for years. Yeah, he's a very good joke writer. Yeah. He gets pacing for comedy extremely well. I worked with Elliot on some of his books over at Vault. Big fan. He's a delight. If you ever get a chance at a convention, go talk to him. He's so much fun to talk to.
That makes no sense because his timing is perfect.
Yes.
We're going to switch crazy gears right here, and we're going to go to Lost Fantasy issue 5 from Image Comics. There is a trade paperback for the first 4 issues, I believe, that already came out recently, maybe this week. Anyway, last week.
This week. It.
Oh, nice. Well, there is one. If you don't know, what I love about this, for one, is that it is a giant size book every time. But this is honestly, for people who do like things like Something is Killing the Children, this is another one of those universes where there is a secret society of people who protect us from demons and monsters and mythical creatures. And we are following a guy who looks very much like Cloud from Final Fantasy. And this has a lot of Final Fantasy elements in it. And he is one of the people whose job it is to go out and kind of like stop this magic that's happening. Look at that double page spread. He's supposed to stop these like evil forces that are attacking people. And when he goes, he finds out that unfortunately for the human and the magic world, this is like people are targeting the magical people, and they're bringing out these monsters now to target them. And in the first volume, the first arc, he was kind of forced to partner up with his least favorite person in the whole entire organization. And this arc starts out with somebody threatening his dad, and we see this big fight come down between this character and his dad. And now he's been told that he is essentially now in charge of the whole organization until they figure out what happened with his dad. And so he has to run both like the school that trains the students and the organization, and all he wants to do is figure out whether or not his dad is still alive and get vengeance on them. And so we've got a lot of layers coming in, and a lot of things, and some twists and turns on who some of these new people are going to be.
Fun fact on this one, there's a backup story by Franklin Jonas. He's the bonus Jonas of the Jonas Brothers, and is a huge comics fan. And this is his first written comics work.
Yes, I'm going to turn to that because you can see it's so funny because he actually, like, his character looks like a Joe Bro.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and it's so funny because when I saw it, I was like, it's so cute that he wrote Franklin. We're just gonna call you Frankie. You're always gonna be Frankie Jonas. Like, but he was also in the Christmas special. If you didn't watch the Jonas Brothers Christmas special, you should. It's really, actually, speaking of things that are surprisingly really funny, that was actually hilarious, and I could not stop laughing the whole time because all they do for the most part is make fun of themselves, and it's very much like the old Jonas Brothers show where they're like half the characters of being the Jonas Brothers, but also like it's just them.
Yeah.
And so like they're making jokes at Joe's expense, like towards his Sophie divorce and the fact that like he's like a womanizer, like people think he's a womanizer and that he's dumb, and like that people think Kevin can't sing.
It's a smart PR move.
It was
a smart PR move.
It was really good. I was incredibly surprised with how great it was, and I don't even like to watch Christmas movies before Thanksgiving, and I already watched it. So,
wow.
You know, we've got Space Ghost issue 5 from Dynamite. Are you a Space Ghost fan?
Only Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all I know from
yeah,
Space
like
Ghost,
I love Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, it's totally my Space Ghost knowledge. So I learned a lot. Like, apparently, Space Ghost also had 2 kids that had a pet monkey that traveled around with him when I started reading this. It's very, like, Wonder Twins and Space Ghost. But they've been going on. This is actually the 2nd volume of this. David P. Post is still writing it. And in this volume, they actually have been trying, they were sent in to kind of stop a fight between, or to be there for essentially this combination of the Glass Tour and like these shark people. They were going to have like a peace treaty come about. Well, somebody got wind of it and didn't like it and like attacked, and they made it look like it was one of the other, like one, you know, like that it was a purposeful attack between them. Right. So they went back to war immediately. Unfortunately, the kids were there to try to stop it, and they got like Jace got blamed for it, and so he got put into prison. And so now Jan and Space Ghost are trying to figure out how to like solve all the problems and save not only him but the whole entire universe, because these people's wars are already spreading across all of the things, and this is them kind of trying to deal with it. And I love it because Jan gets like her moment in here where she's like, I am the most awesome, like I'm not, you guys better listen to me because I'm going to stop you from all of these things. It was absolutely fantastic. It's just fun.
While we're on
a break,
Tom also wanted to know what you're drinking this evening.
Oh yes, come back in.
Drinking at the View, that's what I'm drinking.
We are drinking Vidal Fleury. It's a Cotes de Rhone, and it's great. We did our review earlier. Let's give it a taste to see if it's opened up.
Well, clearly I didn't like it, so I've just been sitting here sneaking sips.
Oh, I like the pepperiness that has jumped in there. So, oh my gosh, and our peanut gallery has grown.
Our live studio audience.
Woo! Hello, Alex. Welcome to Florida.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here.
Yeah, thanks. We talked all about him, and Alex just got here off the plane and all the way, like the Uber ride from Tampa. So now he's here and he can.
Even though he looks like he just stepped out of a photo shoot.
Always.
Son of a bitch.
I know. Look at that. There you go. I told you. No.
You told me no swearing. Well, then Alex showed up and all bets are off.
All bets are off. It's fine. It's okay.
One time.
We'll do what we can. Yeah. All right. We're going to talk about Ghost Pepper from Image Skybound. Have you read this?
I have not read Ghost Pepper.
I think that this is such a fun book that it got, honestly, like when it first got picked up, it was like a lot of people picking it up for like the spec of it, because it does have those like Ikijiro, I can never say his name. Ishikuri. It has the covers from him, obviously this is one of those. People were really picking it up for that. And so many of them came back in and were like, oh my god, I read that, subscribing to this book, I didn't know what it was. Like, that was so cool. But it is in a post-apocalyptic kind of world, and this girl has a food truck in this post-apocalyptic world, and she has raised her own ghost peppers, and that's her secret ingredient. Is in this post-apocalyptic world where everybody's food is kind of bland, she is cooking with ghost pepper, and everybody hates her, and this other food truck guy is always trying to take her down. Well, one day she has a rogue man sitting at her thing, and somebody comes to attack him, and he does the classic, like, okay, I'm gonna have to get up and fight these people, and just like rips them apart kind of situation. It turns out he's a former like warrior secret hero of this world, and the guy that like claimed to have done all of the work he did is now ruling this world, and everybody thinks that this guy who goes by Ash was dead. And so now he's back. Things are crazy. The ruler is getting real mad. He's trying to send assassins and stuff after Ash. She doesn't know any of that still. She's just using him to help her with her food truck, which just got busted up in the last issue in a fight. And so now she's forcing him to help her fix her food truck. And we also learned the secret of her ghost pepper cooking in here. Not her recipe. She said she'd never share those, but she will. She's like, but I'll tell everybody I use ghost pepper. Good luck learning how to do it. And I love that in this world, like, ghost peppers are so rare and fragile to them that they're like, you must wear gloves when you like touch a ghost pepper, and like you can't eat it. And like that's how they show that Ash is strong, is because he just like sticks the ghost pepper in his mouth, and they're like, no.
Have you ever eaten a ghost pepper?
Love ghost peppers.
Oh.
Yeah, ghost peppers are great. Yeah. We're a ghost pepper family. That's why I ordered this book. I ordered it because I love ghost pepper. I was really hoping there'd be recipes, but it does feel. This is one of those books where it's Western in art style, and but it feels very Eastern in the narrative and the sensibilities for sure. In the way that Boombox books feel, honestly feels like if you would have told me that Boombox put this out, I would not ever doubt you. Like, it feels very much like an I Heart Skull Crusher kind of storytelling going on in this. Speaking of Boombox, The Last Witch, issue 5 from Boom and their Boombox imprint. This is the wrap-up of this new arc of The Last Witch. This is the Blood and Betrayal arc. I love this story. One of the things we don't see enough is like true Irish folklore getting told in stories. And this is about a young girl who is an Irish girl who finds out that she is related to a series of witches and very like Celtic in nature, and she has to go out and kind of Avatar the Last Airbender her witch powers and learn the different elements from different witches so that she can go and fight this ultimate witch. That was volume 1. In this volume, she's in that battle of fighting this ultimate witch, and we're kind of seeing now that she's done that, like what happens with all that dark magic that she just took in. We also find out in this volume that not everybody in her family is what they say they are. And so in the last couple issues, she's actually been going against a family member who she kind of looked up to as a mentor for a long time. And it's definitely set up for us to see possibly even more from this series, and I would really love to continue doing that. And I would especially love it if Boom put The Last Witch Volume 1 back in print. And they keep saying that every time this issue is we have an issue on the show, because this book is so good and people want to read it. So we need more people to read it, because we don't have enough Irish folklore getting told in modern stories. So make it happen. Put it together. When this art comes out, in trade, just make both of them in one trade paperback. You could just put all 10 issues in one, and I would still be happy because it's so good. And it's cute and adorable. And it's got a great family story. Like, the whole thing for her, she's trying to save her little brother.
Aww.
And, like, as a little Irish witch girl with a little brother, like, I love it. Let's go. This is not about my little brother, but he did teach me about Pokemon and things like that, and this is kind of the closest to that. This is Tama issue, what are we on, 4? Yeah, from Panic Entertainment. This is what would happen if those Tamagotchis that were forgotten about after the 90s were suddenly re-released, and they were murderous. It is fantastic. This is, we've been following this story as essentially this kid's mom does get all of the products from a former like virtual pet shop kind of place, and he's lonely and he has no friends and everybody bullies him, and so this kid decides he's going to be friends with this virtual pet, and every time the virtual pet feels sad or abandoned, then the kid, and he sees the kid's emotions, he goes after that person and savagely murders them. And the kid is being told, hey, buddy, maybe you need to get rid of this virtual pet because he's, like, literally just killing anybody you don't like. And, you know, once you unleash the beast, you can't really put it back in. And Tama is not going to go quietly. I'm really excited. I believe it's the next issue is going to be kind of La Boo-Boo-esque. In it, I think it's going to have a little backup story, I think it is, from Timmy Heeg. That'll have some Labubu fun in there, but yeah, it just gets wilder every issue. Like, you're like, okay, like, he's killed enough people, like, somebody's gonna notice by now, and then it's like, hey, here's like 17 more dead bodies. Like, this little furry creature is real mad, and like, I also want to make sure that I find any virtual pets I had as a child and like play with them.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm scared that they're angry now somewhere secretly in a box.
Virtual pet ownership is no joke.
It isn't. No. I actually feel like my virtual pets needed more attention than my actual pet has ever needed. And I give her a lot of attention, so I don't know why virtual pets
I feel like we need to do a virtual pet PSA.
We should.
Yeah, take care of your virtual pets, people.
Yeah. Give them
the
love.
arms of the angel.
It's like, that's it. Any more than 10 seconds, we have to pay for it. So, Monster High World Scare issue 4 from IDW. I really love that IDW has just completely leaned into their Monster High rights this year, as you should, especially because the dolls came back out. Mm-hmm. And so this has been great. This story is all about the World Scare has come to town, and we've seen a couple of different things going on with inventions, but Frankie Stein has been, after the death of her father in the last volume, she has been trying to come up with a way to kind of make him proud, and so she wants to be the next great inventor, and she's really struggling with how to make her invention actually work. Meanwhile, we've got a Crypt Crier, which is essentially just Gossip Girl going on, and this Crypt Crier is telling all the stuff, and it's kind of stirring up more drama than it needs to. Not like that was ever the case on Gossip Girl at all. And so Spectra has decided that as the reporter for the newspaper, it's her job to get to the bottom of who the Crypt Crier actually is and kind of figure that out. Plus, there is still the secret society of the Boo World Order out here trying to stop monsters and normies from being friends. And we're definitely seeing who that is. And I will say, we have some good leads on this Crypt Crier after this issue, and much like Gossip Girl, if they don't like switch it around and tell us like this one and this one and this one, let's just say it's not Dan, okay, Gossip Girl fans, it's not just
not me
or Dan from Gossip Girl, because that was a terrible ending. All right, we've got the Cowboys of Moo Mesa number 3 from Oni Press. You sold me on this book when it was coming out. I was already really excited because when they announced the Nacelle verse, this was actually the book that we were like, are there going to be Cowboys?
This was the one. I was working at Oni when the Nacelle verse started going, and this was the one that multiple retailers asked me about. They're like, yeah, no, that's all great. Biker Mice from Mars, that's awesome. Are you going to do Cowboys of Moo Mesa? And they were worried if we had the courage, if we could make the Cowboys muscly enough.
And they did. They really did.
I think we found the upper limit.
I think so. So,
Yeah.
but this is, if you don't know Cowboys of Moo Mesa, this is one of those when they were trying to make like a ton of different properties kind of similar to Ninja Turtles with those anthropomorphic animals who saved the day. This was one of them. And Cowboys of Moo Mesa follows our marshal who's going around trying to uphold the code of the West and really keep things safe. And in this series, a dark horse has come to the other town where his former mentor has gone to live, and everybody is starting to disappear. We thought we saved everything in issue 1, but it turns out that was just the beginning, and our favorite mentor is still missing, and the dark horse is still at large, and he's got a lot of things up his sleeve, and the more they kind of try to get it together, the worse it gets. But like this, where their own horses are supersized and turns against them. It is all of the cheesiness and hilariousness that you need from a story like this. And so if you are just looking for a good time, Cowboys of Moo Mesa is definitely it. And I am very excited for Spirits of Shadows coming soon from Nick Cagnetti, the creator of Pink Lemonade. I'm just going to always throw that out there because Pink Lemonade is the best. And if you didn't read it, you need to read it because I love it so much. We've got Creepshow, issue 3 from volume 4 from Image and the Sky Brown imprint. This is your classic horror anthology, bringing you some great stories. Usually in this, we're going to see 2 stories, which is exactly what we have. In the first one, it's called Short Order, and what's really great is this guy gets invited by his, like, the high-end people at his job to go out to these, like, secret dinners that they have, and he kind of is like, wow, this food is amazing, and he doesn't realize that everybody else purges the food after they're leaving, and so he doesn't really, like, so he becomes obsessed with the taste of this food, and kind of sacrifices everything in his life to try to start finding this food source and what it was, and he can't do anything until he finds the taste of this food again, and things go crazy real fast. The other one is called Old Town Cinema, and it is about an old elderly couple that goes to a movie, and they just want a quiet, nice night out at the movies. But a bunch of teenagers just don't know how to keep their mouths shut during the film. And they have to do, what they have to do to keep people quiet in the movie.
Talking, no texting means no talking, no texting.
I really want the Draft House. I want to send the Draft House marketing team a copy of this issue and be like, hey, here's your next ad. You guys got to get the rights from Kirkman and Skybound to put this in the next don't talk, don't text, or this will happen. This ups it for you, Draft House, and you should definitely consider Creepshow Volume 4 Issue 3 as your next ad for sure. All right, we've got The Dusk Issue 3 from AMP Comics. This has been a really fun new superhero world that AMP has built. They've kind of, in their first year launching, they've kind of hit every single genre. They've had their fantasy, they've had their western, they have their romance, and with The Dusk, they have their superhero, which is written by Alex Scola. So if you're enjoying things like Dick Tracy, you definitely need to jump into this. But this is all about a man who suddenly found out one day that he was the son of local billionaire and now has inherited local billionaire's fortune, and he wanted to keep it a secret, and so he did, but he just kind of used that space as the place to build out his bat cave, and he's been working as the superhero The Dusk in his neighborhood in his city all this time. And so he's been fighting against all of this, and now there's a big villain in the area who's really taking off and attacking people, and he's kind of the only one who can talk about, who can go after them and kind of find this. And it helps him because his day job is also working at law enforcement. So he actually has this connection on both sides. But in this issue, unfortunately for him, a reporter leaks the story that he is now the inheritor of all of the fame and fortune of this billionaire, which leads to him being exposed in so many ways. And a lot of people seem to immediately pinpoint him as the Dusk in the worst way possible. There's there's betrayals, there's twists, there's turns, and so much going on. If you are looking for one of those superhero stories that's not big two superhero stories, and kind of focuses on that heart of the family, because he's also a single dad. So it's got that great heart of having a teenage girl that he's trying to raise at the same time. Really good emotional development in there. Speaking of really good stories, my boy Simon Kojansky is back with issue 3 of No Man's Land from Image Comics. If you watch the show, you know that I am highly obsessed with something epic from Simon, and this was his newest book, and I'm so excited. It's so good. Basically, the way this story starts out is that there is a piece of the water that up outside of Russia and Alaska where it gets so cold that at certain points in the year, that part freezes over and creates a land bridge. Well, this is during like the time of Soviet Russia and America, and so there's all these hostilities during the Cold War, and nobody owns the land in the land bridge, and so they both kind of want the other one to just ignore it. Well, somebody is murdered right in the middle of the land bridge, and both Soviet Russia and America send somebody out to investigate this like gruesome murder, and they're supposed to, of course, find out the answer before the other one can and like not communicate. Well, there is a lot to unpack with this murder. There is something very deep going on here. It is a little ritualistic, very ritualistic, as we see in this issue. And we get to see that there's also kind of this like religious overtone to these rituals that are like based a little bit in Christianity, but also a little bit into some really like weird things. So many layers to this book, so much like something epic where there was just more and more that Simon unfolded in each issue and kept you like motivated and thrilling like into the thing. Honestly, like this whole series could just be pick of the week like all the time because it's so well written. And Simon is the artist on all of it. Like Simon does everything except translate the writing. And so it's so good. Like that's why he's one man art, because he is doing all of it. And it's always cool to see him change those styles of art and things like within the issues too, and just give you such a good story. If you have not read this, like grab all 3 issues at one time and just jump into it, because it's definitely that really good like spy murder mystery, like all those kinds of things. But then that Cold War element to it also it's so good. There's so much to unpack in that it's almost impossible to unpack it all in like a 3-minute segment. We've got Racer X issue 3 from Mad Cave. If you would have told me that Mark Russell was going to write a Speed Racer adjacent story this year, I would have like never believed that was like really going to happen.
Mark Russell, who wrote Snagglepuss Exit Stage Life.
I know.
It's a stretch. Come on, Shannon.
It's been so long. It's been so long. And like he's not writing Speed Racer proper, which is the crazy thing. Like he's just doing like, I know, he also did Flintstones. I mean, he does.
His Hanna-Barbera stuff was so good. I own a page from Snagglepuss.
Do you really? Of course you do. That makes so much sense. It's so good, and we're getting a lot of that in this like same world, and it works so well because David Pepose is writing this Speed Racer proper, and he's kind of building this great story that really follows the Speed Racer lore so much, and then you've got Mark over here writing Racer X, and it's such a good version of the Racer X story. He's, in this world, he is a Speed's older brother that has gone missing, that he's presumed to be dead all this time, and he is working his butt off to keep Speed safe. And we constantly get to see it. And why it's surprising is it's not really, like all those things, like all those other Mark Russell comic stories, they were kind of like, what's the weird twist? And the weird twist is just that it's Speed Racer's brother is Racer X, and we're getting to see him like actually fight for it. And it's just a classically good family story, and I love the way this really makes you think that Mark Russell knows a lot about cars, and I don't know if he does, but like he's like sitting in this whole thing like talking about building cars, and I had that like vision of Iron Man in the Avengers going like, when did you become the expert on this? And he's like, last night. Like I was like, I don't know if Mark Russell really is a car guy, or if Mark Russell just did so much research on cars that he wrote the first like entire narrative section of this story just like off research he did the night before he had to write the issue. Either one is possible, but it's so good. It actually like brings a whole new level to the Speed Racer lore, and again, it's a perfect mirror to what's happening in the Speed Racer story, because they do go back and forth on these races. It's like one race is from essentially Racer X's point of view, and one is from Speed's, and so good, so good. Good as Dead, issue 3 from Image and the Skybound imprint. This has actually been a 1 and 2, I believe, are both Santiago Saturday picks. But this is all about a small town where it really has that like dynamic of like there's this woman who is the corrupt criminal who kind of runs all the business and like is awful, and you know, has her family has always been the bad guys of the town, and then the other family is the sheriff, and the sheriff hates them and is always looking to blame stuff on them. Well, for the first time in multiple years, they finally build a second bridge off this island to go into the main part of the town. And so everybody on the island is at this festival to do that. And a mysterious like biohazard gets leaked and everybody gets sick, including the sheriff. And it's like you have days at most to live. Meanwhile, the bridge that they built collapses, like is blown up on the day of the celebration. And like, I think they said the number was up to like 123 people were dead from that collapse. And he's like determined to believe that it is the woman who runs the crime family that he absolutely hates. And so he's so focused on trying to pinpoint her that he's kind of missing everything else that's happening in the town. And so, which includes like the FBI now showing up, and he's got a sister who is like ex-special forces who's kind of like got that PTSD and like thinks everything's like a major war. And so she's like, I'm going to take everybody out for you, brother. There are so many different, like the cast of characters in this is ready for a video game. Like, this is, you could easily turn this into a video game and be like, this is, I can't wait to talk to that character because that character has the funniest, like, things, and this character is definitely leading you the wrong direction. But we've got, like, the deputy is on her own thing, and we kind of learn what that is for the first time in this issue. Issue 3, always the turn, so we see those big changes in those characters, like, in this issue for sure. Oh, man. Here we go. Everything Dead and Dying, issue 3 from Image Comics. Tiny Onion, Tape Rumble. Oh my gosh. Have you read this?
Yes.
Oh my god. So I say it every time. This is Tape Rumble's absolute best work. This is going to go down as like Tate's magnum opus for sure. Like it's so good. And Jacob Phillips on art is just crushing it. This is the most heartfelt version of a zombie apocalypse story that you are ever going to get. And we're 3 issues in, so I have to tell you that now. I told you, on issue 1, I wasn't going to tell you the twist. There's no way at this point to not tell you. This is about a man who's lived in a small town and always been quite grumpy and had a lot of problems with alcoholism, things like that. Finds the love of his life. They get married. They face a lot of prejudice because they are in a small town and they are a queer couple. They adopt a little girl. They start trying to grow this perfect family, and then a zombie apocalypse breaks out. And this man, who's always been in this town, refuses to give up on his town and wants to have that life that he worked so hard to get. So he keeps the town as it was, even with everybody being zombies, and like gets his mail from the mailman zombie every day, who's not actually delivering mail, but still like routinely walks up to the door, and he still has his breakfast with his family every morning, and he still goes to drink with his buddies. It's just, they're all zombies now. And one day a group of people come in looking like stragglers, kind of going through the town, and they disrupt everything because as far as they're concerned, only good zombie is a dead zombie, and they think they're doing good, but we are starting to see that is not great, and it is heart-wrenching. Yeah.
Jacob Phillips is such a tremendous artist, and I think anyone who hasn't checked out that Texas Blood, that again, Chris Condon, so you know it's good, but to see him switch over to a different genre and doing the zombie story here is so rewarding, and then to have it be an emotional gut punch of a story every issue. It's like there's specific episodes of The Walking Dead or The Last of Us that just get you. It's the whole series is that.
Yeah, Chris took out everything else and just left, Tate took out everything else and just left the emotional, heart-wrenching stuff in there and built the whole story around there. It is a lot. And this issue is, if you're like a parent, just bring tissues reading this, because this issue as like a parent, this is like really that story of like having a child and growing with it. It is so good. Tate Bromble, seriously, like top of his game with this series for sure. It Killed Everyone But Me, issue 3 from Mad Cave. This is our new horror adventure from Mad Cave. This is what happens after Cabin in the Woods, essentially. This is about a group of kids are a group of teenagers, college students, who go out to a cabin in the woods, and everybody is murdered except for one girl. Tragically, we're not really sure what happened. We're not even really sure what happened in the first issue. What we do know is that those murders are starting to happen again. And the only person who knows anything about what that kind of murdering looks like is this woman. And so they come to her to try to get some information. And we learn that there is this essentially demon man. And there are all these kind of demons that you can invoke who will go and slaughter people like that. And she has this demon locked up and kind of under her control still, and she's been trying to keep it there, and she thinks it shouldn't be able to attack people anymore, but now that people are getting attacked again, she's like, what is going on? And so her and the detective have to investigate and interrogate this demon to kind of figure out where this is going. And we see some really, really big twists in this issue, which is why I'm not showing you anything else, but it's such a good one. Again, if you're fans of Something is Killing the Children, this is another one that you're really going to like, because it does kind of invoke a lot of those feels, and it has Leticia Conanisi on it, who did the Something is Killing Children like one shot that was in the Hello Darkness. And things like that. I was like, what is that thing? But you can look, it is a spitting image for, you can tell Leticia did a lot of stuff with House of Slaughter and Something is Killing the Children, because it has the very Werther-esque kind of style to the faces and the design, which is really cool. Nocturnals, The Sinister Path, issue 3 from Dark Horse. Nocturnals is a very, very long-running series. Like, I think Katie and I looked it up, and it was like the 1980s or something crazy like that this started. You don't have to know all of that. It's okay. It's kind of like the Hellboy universe, where they just keep bringing you new stories in it, and you just get to be excited about this new story and this really cool art. And this is kind of following in this story, we're following along as our essentially monster hunter and our little kind of BRPD-esque kind of society has gone to get this old man who they're close to, who's dying, that they want to make sure that they can essentially get all his like information he has about the monster world before he does. And they go to take him and bring him home, and when they do, they have some other stuff go down, like when they're in the house, the daughter, Evening, she actually finds a small child in there that is a ghost, and she has these toys that she collects that has spirits in it, and so she brings it home. And we see in this issue all of the connecting pieces kind of come together, all the other characters we've seen. We learn like the harpies and the story of the harpies. We learn where the wolf comes from, and we learn how they're all connected to this one man who is on his deathbed and what that actually is to do. And there was a really good story build out in here, and I actually kind of want to go back and read every single Nocturnals book, because I love the characters so much, and I'm kind of curious, like, has the art always looked like this? Like, and, it's just, the characters are so cool. I really want to see people cosplay them, because they're all awesome, and, like, I want more of them. So, if I have to go back and read, like, 40 years of this comic, I guess that's just what I'm going to have to do.
Oh, no, more comics to read.
Oh, no. We've got Powers 25, issue 3 from Dark Horse, and Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Avon Oeming, who are celebrating 25 years of Powers with this whole new stories. I know. Talk about more comics to read. Can you believe Powers is 25 years old? They actually have a little funny comic at the beginning of every issue that's like, hey, we've been doing this for a long time. Thanks for coming back and reading more of it, and like, here's what we're giving you. But this is actually this issue specifically, because this Powers series follows like people now at the Powers department. But what's really cool is it actually takes us back to 25 years ago and one of the kids that the Powers team rescues, and it actually shows his life from that 25 year ago point to the now. And which is really cool to see that. And then how it's like, okay, this kid actually had powers, and now he's grown up, and he wants to, like, as a powered person, he wants to work in the Powers department. But of course, that's always been the thing, is that the powered people can't work in the Powers police department. And of course, that's a problem, because, like, why can't anybody, like, that has powers have any right to speak on their own behalf? And so he's kind of been working forever to try to get that legislation changed or to get the department to allow him in. And now with the big crazy case that we're facing in this News Powers 25, they've decided, maybe they need to look into that a little bit more. But it's just really cool to kind of see like an actual bridge from the original Powers story all the way to now and how that might have worked out, and just kind of also see like what the universe went through that we didn't see in that 25 years is really cool. Did you read Powers?
Yeah.
My favorite Powers story is actually in crossover. When Donnie Cates brought in the Powers detectives to interview them. It was hilarious.
God, I forgot about that. Oh, Donnie Cates.
It's my favorite because she leans back and she's like, "Are we doing this?" And they're like, "What?" And they're like, she's like, "Bindespeak." And they're like, "What's Bindespeak?" And then it just suddenly has like the 13 bubbles on the thing. Love that. It was so great. Like, let's just go for it. Lean into it. And Bendis, like, helped write it.
Of course.
So it's like, he knows. He knows he's doing it.
He's got a tremendously great attitude about himself.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got the all-new Harbinger issue 3 from Valiant and Alien Books. If you didn't know that your Valiant universe is back, it is back. And we've got a whole new series with Harbinger. And this has been actually a really fun series because... the team is trying to, like the Harbinger team is trying to stop a group of people that are actually villains from a long time ago that have now been like repowered and are coming back after them. And the way that they're trying to, like, they're like struggling and they're not able to really defeat these bad guys. And so the school, the academy that the Harbingers are trained in, decides to send a new kid out, which is hilarious because she gets there and they're like, "What's your power?" And she's like, "Disc." And they're like, "What's that mean?" And she's like, "I make disc out of light." And they were like, "They need to send you back to the school. You're going to die." And she's like, "I've got this. It's fine." And of course, Archer is like, "This is not fine. Like, this kid is not ready." And she goes through this whole battle, and this battle does not go the way anybody's expecting. Like, they kind of all are thinking like, "Oh, the good guys are going to win. It's going to be easy. It's going to be great." And I'm like, this is not a good guys win. Like, this is a tough and tumble, and Archer has to deal with that because he's not used to losing, and he's not used to having like his team not be able to handle what's going on, and some really big bad things happen in this issue, and he has to deal with that fallout of it. And we see some real ultimate betrayals that are definitely going to lead us to a whole new world of problems for the Harbinger world, and possibly all of the Valiant universe, because they're always intertwined. So, we've got Yuletide, issue 2 from Oni Press. This is perfect to pick up this week so that you can start reading it after Thanksgiving and get really excited in the Christmas spirit and all of the terrifying things that come. The best part about Christmas is all of the monsters. I'm not gonna lie. That's the favorite part of Christmas, and you get them. You get the rich cultural story of all the different characters. Basically, there's a town that is very, very Christmassy. The mayor is even Mayor Holly, and she just wants to have her perfect Christmas parade, and she wants her son to be the Christmas king, the Yule king or whatever, and ride on the float in the parade. And the kids make some excellent choices. The younger siblings who are less popular decide to open up a chest inside of a man's antique shop, which definitely always goes well once you're told not to touch oddities. And they unleash all hell, essentially, but all the Christmas hell specifically. And so all the Yule monsters are released, and they have to kind of fight to bring them back before they're all killed for their souls for Christmas. Do you have secret fun stuff about this book that you want to tell us? Oh,
it was pitched as Hocus Pocus but Christmas.
That's totally
That's what it is.
That's a great pitch.
Yeah. No, it's super fun. I got to see early art on this when I was still working at Oni, and I think this is going to become a perennial hit. Mm-hmm. I kind of know where the story's going, so I won't say anything about that, but it's a fun one. I think you should pick it up, guys. I think you like it. This and the upcoming Shiver Suspense stories, Shiver Suspend stories, because it's suspend stories, The second issue of that is dropping in December, and the first one was so good. I'm really excited to see the second one.
Look, if you need selling points for this, the Yule Cat's in it. Okay, that's it. The Yule Cat. If you don't know the Yule Cat, this is your chance to understand why a giant cat that makes Christmas horrifying is the greatest thing that you could ever want.
You don't know Yule Cat? Get educated.
It's an educational nonprofit. We could do a whole class on the Yule Cat. Love it. So much fun. We've got Viking Moon, issue 2 from Image Comics. Today Katie goes, whoa, what is that book? While I was reading it, and I was like, it's called Viking Moon. And she was like, what is it about? And I was like, Vikings and werewolves. And she was like, sold. And I was like, yeah, what else do you need? But this is essentially like Leif Erikson and like Eric the Red, all of them have all, made their path to the North American side. And now a new group of Vikings has come post them to kind of join them. And when they get there, it's kind of like Roanoke a little bit. Like they get there and everybody's gone and it's like, what happened? Like it doesn't look like it was on purpose. Where did they go? And they meet some First Americans who are like, you need to leave. And they're like, we're sorry, we're not trying to trespass on your land, but like people should be. And they're like, we don't care about that. You need to go or you're all going to die. And they're like, is this a threat? And they're like, not from us. And then you have the one guy who's like, I'm going to go investigate. And he comes across a pack of werewolves. And he's like, oh man, I should tell them this is bad. That was all issue 1, guys. Like, and now we're in issue 2. And it's like, hey, by the way, werewolves. Like, they're here, and they're like, oh, what should we do? And they're like, well, let's just make camp in the place where the people who were here before us were. And it's like, yeah, because that works so well for them. And anyway, bad things are going to happen, and it's going to be great. And there is some, if you do actually like Viking lore, there is some really cool stuff that is going to come in the next issue that's like hinted at. That next issue after, whatever. We're seeing the hints of some actual like great Viking stuff and like. And
do you still have a copy of issue 1?
Yeah, because they did a second print.
Not anymore, because I'm gonna buy it unless somebody else gets here to it first on Wednesday.
There you go. Check it out. It is it's really great. Like if either of those things slightly interest you, you're gonna have a blast with the book. Stake presents Jessame, issue 2 from Amp. I said this with issue 1. I'm saying it again. I'm so glad that Amp picked this up. Stake was a Scout title, and they were supposed to put out this book at Scout after Stake was finished, and we didn't get it, and I was very sad, and I told Francesca Fantini, the artist, that I was so disappointed that we were never gonna get this book, and thankfully Amp has saved the day, and so I'm so excited. If you don't know, Jessame is a part of a vampire society that essentially goes around actually slaying vampires who are breaking the rules and like exposing vampire culture. And this is, Stake was done in the modern times, and so we got to say Jessame then. This actually takes us back to the times of like early colonial America and enslavement, and we actually see a group of vampires who, very on the nose in French, named their plantation the like place of blood, and they have this. It's the Chateau de Sang et de Fleury, and so it's the Chateau of Blood and Flowers, and basically they are going around and buying all of the enslaved from all of the auctions and then harvesting them for their blood. And of course this is getting out of hand and very noticeable, so they have sent Jessame over from England to kind of stop this. There is so much, and the emotional story that they put in this issue 2, because we actually see a lot of issue 2 from one of the enslaved men's point of view after his wife had a baby. Whew. Oh my God. It is intense. It is amazing. And also Jessame is just so cool. And so I'm so glad we got to see her come back, and I can't wait to see her kick some bad vampire butt, because she's going to do it and it's going to be awesome. We've got Temporal issue 2 from Mad Cave. This is all about a world where time travel existed, and people used it for positive things, and then people used it for like crime like, going back in
Right.
time and stealing things. And so in issue 1, we saw that there is a woman who is a retired time thief, and is kind of has a husband and kids now, or a kid now, and they're just trying to have this like nice life. And she tried to get her son something for Christmas, or his birthday, not Christmas, and it didn't work out, and it's like one of those retro things that everybody wants. So she decides she's going to hook up with her old gang and have them send her back in time so that she can go and get the actual one, like, for her son. And not only do you, like, go back in time to, like, get the thing that you're not supposed to go back in time to get, but like they literally actually do steal it. Like, you don't go back and just buy it, you go back and like steal it. And so she robs the store in the mall and has to go on this like wild like chase to get away, only to try to get back. She said she's one and done. Does anybody believe that? I don't. And this is also Stephanie Williams, and she's just building a really fun story with this one. And I know that our girl is going to get right back into the mess of things and lie about it all next issue. And I kind of want to see what happens when she does. I love Stephanie. She tells a fun story.
She doesn't miss.
Yeah. For fans of G.I. Joe, this is the Disavowed. This is issue 2, and it's from Massive, but it is actually from the Massive Indies, which is Massive putting out other comics. And so this is actually from Devil's Due. And this is actually Josh Blaylock writing it, who's worked on G.I. Joe a lot. And so he's kind of telling that, like, G.I. Joe story they never let him tell that he always wanted to tell with this. And so, like, you're going to see, like, everybody in here is somebody from the G.I. Joe world. But the way they're doing the story, which is really cool, is it starts out in issue 1 with a young son knowing that his dad was in the military and like in a special team, and that he didn't survive like an operative, and he finds like his gun, and it's not only just like a regular gun, but it has like these cool lasers and stuff. Ooh. And he's like, wait, who was my dad? And so he starts researching it, and he learns his dad was essentially Duke from the G.I. Joe. And this issue starts actually back in time, and we get to see the mission that the dad was on that he didn't make it from, and everything that happened with that, before we jump to like the kid being like, so my aunt said I couldn't play with the gun, and then some people from the government showed up and took it away from me, which made me just think like there's got to be more to this story. But apparently the government forgot the internet existed, so I'm just looking it up and doing my own research,
because knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Go Joe. And so we get to see kind of that, and then we get to see how those worlds might connect as the story unfolds. Seriously, if you're a fan of G.I. Joe, you absolutely need to read this, because this is like the way that Kyle Higgins created Radiant Black because he wanted to do more with Power Rangers than like licensing would let him. This is Josh going, I really wanted to tell this story with G.I. Joe, but they wouldn't let me, so here it is. And you're getting like essentially your Radiant Black universe, but for G.I. Joe. Hectoplasm, Hunt the Bigfoot, issue 2 from Image. Hectoplasm is another character that has had lots of adventures that he's gone on, and you absolutely do not have to know a single thing about any of them to read this. You can just jump right in. Hector is a paranormal investigator who kind of like has some weird tics of his own. He has the ability to control ectoplasm, and so he can talk to ghosts, and he can use that to like also kind of like create weapons and different things. And he was called out to a small town because they had some murders and they wanted him to investigate them. And he ends up teaming up with a girl from a museum, and it's supposed to be a history museum, but she's obsessed with Bigfoot and quite frankly just really believes that Bigfoot is out there in her town. And so he's now teamed up with them, and they are going on this wild adventure. He does not believe in Bigfoot, which is funny for a ghost, like paranormal detective. But Bigfoot believes in him. And so we get to see a couple of sightings of the big hairy man in this one. But whether or not he's actually a Sasquatch and who is responsible for these murders and who isn't is something that we are going to find out in issue 3, which is the last issue of this little mini-series. So we'll see what happens. But it's funny, it's charming, and it's got a great little detective adventure for you. Are you a Terminator fan?
Who doesn't love Terminator? T2 is one of the greatest movies ever made. That's
true. It's there's no argument there. You can't argue that.
Good. I don't want to fight you.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight you. Arnold Schwarzenegger is my cousin, okay? He's my cousin Arnold.
What?
No, that's the Saturday Night Live, Cousin Arnold, Hans and Franz. But when I was a kid,
Thank you.
I
Sorry.
actually really did.
Sorry. For a second, I was like, what a lore drop for like 2/3 of the way through this to be like, oh, by the way.
No. But I did actually, when I was a kid, my dad would quote that all the time.
Yeah.
And then when Planet Hollywood opened in San Antonio, my dad was like, oh, Cousin Arnold's coming. And I was like, is he going to stay with us? And my brother was like, he's not really our cousin. And I was like, oh. And I don't know why I fell for that, because I watched Saturday Night Live with my family. I should have known, but I was like, seriously, like, believe that. So we've got Terminator Metal #2 from Dynamite. This is, we've been doing these Terminator anthologies for a while now. We had the first one, and now we're on Metal, which is really great. And Declan Shavli is just building like a really cool Terminator world. And Terminator Metal is putting us into the world of like the machine like uprising. The first Terminator volume kind of put us into our world and saw different times when the machines came back. This is like, hey guys, here's some more stuff that happened during the uprising. And so this story actually follows a group of people who are have been captured by the machines and are actually being forced to work on finding scrap parts for them, because the machines can't build fast enough. They can't create new parts fast enough, and so they're making humans do all the work to sort and mine all through all the parts to find things that still work for them. And they're only being watched by T-600s, and so the humans are like, hey, I bet we can escape. And this one man is convinced that his wife is actually out there somewhere and is at a base, and he finds out that this one of the women that's brought in is from that same base of the rebellion. And so he asks her if they can maybe like get an escape and go and run out towards that base, and all of the adventure that comes after that is the big part of the story. And because each of these is anthology style, I can't tell you too much, but this definitely was one of those where you were like, humans are always worse than the villain, like if the villain's not a human. And this is another one of those times where you're like, I don't trust any of the humans in this story. And it was definitely a good issue. I'm gonna take a drink really fast. And then
we're gonna need another bottle.
And then I'm gonna kick it to Deluge #2 from Ignition Press.
Oh my god! What? That's so crazy.
All right, you do it.
All right, so y'all, obviously, if you're tuning into the show, you like Shannon's ability to pitch you a book and tell you what it is without you, sitting there and reading the whole thing, getting it spoiled for you. We know how much you love that. So that's why we printed one on the back of every issue. Not just #1s, but all the way through. There is a brief synopsis so you know exactly what you're getting into. A hard rain is falling on Sarenville Correctional Prison for women. As the river rises and the banks overflow, the same walls that are keeping the prisoners inside the fortress-like structure are failing to keep the water out. But when the water comes in, so does something else, something deadly. What was once outside is now inside, and the prisoners and guards will have to find a way out, because if the water doesn't get them, the monsters will. So, this is Cullen Bunn doing remarkable work here with, let me get a good page for you. Yeah. So we've got this ragtag group of women as the prison is falling in around them. Marika Cresta's art on this has just been fantastic to look at. The thing that I really love in this issue is there's a real economy of storytelling that Cullen gets into by showing you in single panels why all of these women are in the prison. Like what their crimes were. It's such efficient storytelling, and it's such a great way to get to know everybody that you're around very quickly, which is important in a story like this where people die. A lot of people die. So getting to know characters quickly and efficiently is vitally important. If you missed out on issue 1, circle back for it. I have been so thrilled to get to work with Cullen multiple times in my career. He's just an absolute sweetheart, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So getting to have a Cullen book right out of the gate, and you can see here that I'm not lying. I'm actually from the company. So see, that's me. That's me. See, I'm not just some guy
I didn't know
they
your
found.
name was in the
Yeah,
book.
right there.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah. Go look at.
all of them.
I
Go
assume, yeah.
Go look at the old Oni ones. They even put me in there, and the vault ones. My name was in there. It's like every time I work somewhere, they put my name
They
in
put
there.
your name in. They were like
No,
Dan Crary.
we'll get excited when it's on the front.
Right.
All right.
I do say, if you don't hear Cell Block Tango playing in your head when you're going through that
Especially
montage, mm-hmm.
Squish. There's a really good squish in there.
There's a really good squish in there.
No. Musical theater jokes. Yeah.
Nice catch.
I saved it. I got very excited. Wind down your weekend. Deluge. Bat City. There's your clip for Instagram Reels. Woo!
Right. Turn it into a GIF. I think Alex got you.
Okay.
He's got
Okay.
Alex got
No,
it.
it's fine. It's fine.
We've got Harley Quinn and Elvira issue 2 from Dynamite. This is such a fantastic crossover that I'm like, I don't know why this took this long to come out and be a thing, but thank you, Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, for making sure that it could happen. If you didn't read issue 1, basically Harley Quinn realizes out of the blue that she didn't have an epic Halloween party, and she feels like she missed out on the opportunity to do so. So what she decides to do is kidnap Elvira so that Elvira can become the hostess of her awesome party. And so she's like, hey, I'm going to throw this epic party. So she goes, and lucky for her, Elvira gets fired from her job. And so Harley is like, hey, well, come stay with me. So if you know DC and you know Harley, she lives in like a fortress of messiness, and that's filled with all kinds of stuff. And so she brings Elvira to stay there with all of the Harley Quinns, like all of her little Harleys, and they're all just hanging out. But Harley is all of us. And you know, that is so oftentimes true, but this is definitely one of those moments because Harley Quinn has Elvira trapped in her house, and she's like sitting on the bed just staring at her, and Elvira is like, how long have you been there? And she's like, don't worry about it. Like, I just like.
I mean, how would you react to having Elvira in your house?
Well, they learn in this one that Elvira actually has a rate. She's willing to do the party, but she has a rate that they have to meet. And Harley agrees to it without asking, and that rate is $5,000 a week. And so they have to go out, and they're like, Harley's like, listen, guys, I know I ask a lot of you, but we're going to break all of those rules. Stop listening to me tell you to be a good person. We're breaking all the rules because for $5,000 a week, Elvira will live with us. And so I'm like, you know what? If it's only $5,000 a week for Elvira to live with you, you should break the rules, Harley. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just selling Avengers #1 at a 3.5 like twice a week every week.
Yeah, it's fine. And Elvira already lives here in our town. So, you know, we're already lucky and fortunate enough to have Cassandra Peters near us, but this is great. And speaking of people who live next to us, it is Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor who do it. So if you are here in the area, they're up. They do signings around the area all the time. But if you really want a great opportunity to see Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor and get your book signed for them, you can join us January 30th through February 3rd on San Diego Comic-Con The Cruise Volume 2.
What?
We will have copies of all kinds of crazy things that Amanda and Jimmy have done. They will be on there. They will be signing them. We will be CGC facilitating that, so you can actually get SIG Series, CGC signed books, and that does include these Harley Quinn and Elvira's that we'll have around. So, come on the cruise and be friends with Bad City and Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor. Like, and on the coolest cruise and one of the coolest cons you'll ever go to. It is so much fun. January 30th. If you use code BATCITY, you save $200 on your sign up for the cruise.
Bat City on a boat.
It is the most fun. We love it. You gotta join us. This year was a blast. Next year is already gearing up to be even crazier. Like, not only are Jimmy and Amanda on there, Megan Hutchison will be on there. Dan Parent is gonna be on there. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna cry. There's like Jason Isaacs is gonna be there. If you're a Doctor Who fan, both River Song and Rory are going to be there. Arthur Darville, they're going to be on it's going to be awesome.
And Alex Kingston?
Yes, Alex Kingston. Yeah. Ashley Exton's going to be on there, and I really hope she brings some her universe stuff to sell, like, because I'll die.
I think that's in her rider. Like, she has to.
She has
like,
to
she's not showing up somewhere if she can't
I
sling
know,
her
but
her
she's
universe.
there, like, as Ahsoka, I believe, but Come on, it's Ashley Exton. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. Join us on the cruise. Again, San Diego Comic-Con, the cruise. Volume 2.
Plug.
Yes. We're going to talk about Astrobots now. This is Volume 2, Issue 2 from Massive. If you are loving Transformers and you're like, I need more like anthropomorphic robots in my life, this is definitely a book you have to read. This actually started, Volume 1 came out actually before the Image Skybound universe for Transformers started. And it is such a cool look at kind of the same kind of story. But what this is a little bit different. What it is we've destroyed the Earth. It's kind of the opposite. We messed up our planet, and we are looking for a new planet to go to, and there's we basically build robots to kind of man the ships while we go out into these, like, cryotubes. We also built robots to build the cities on the new planets and to make sure that they were going to work out, and that's kind of all Volume 1 is following this group of humans who are on this, like, ark ship, essentially, trying to get to this new planet, and having found out that the robot in charge of that planet has lost his ever-loving mind and is now like an evil dictator and doesn't want humans to come live there. And so like you get like your Megatron essentially, and we have like our rogue robot who kind of was outcasted by robot society because they thought that he had this robot disease, and he was able to come in and like lead a rebellion and save them. Now we're picking up where that left off, and we are dealing with the fallout. Where did the people go now that they can't go to that city, now that they saved a lot of them but not all of them? Like, where is everybody going to go? And it starts big, bad, and brutal in this issue, and I cannot wait to see what else is going to happen in Volume 2. We're 2 issues in, and in this issue we kind of start to see the fallout of Issue 1, which led to like death and destruction for a lot of people. I love this story. It's so many layers and so much intricacy, and like the fact that like it's the opposite, like I said. So like the humans kind of are the ones who need the planet and they need the life force, but we're still telling the story from the robot point of view. And so instead of the robots trying to find like Energon and try to build, it's like, what if they were in control of like our safety and our planet needed rebuilding, and they still had a Megatron and an Optimus Prime, and they were determining all of the safety for us. It's a really great story. If you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely should. High Strangeness, Issue 2 from Oni Press. This is kind of an anthology of different terrifying experiences throughout like different time points in American history. This one is 1975, and this particular story follows a man who is a prisoner, and they're being transferred to a new facility, and he's like, we should escape while we're on this bus, and they're like, no, like we should stay. Well, then the bus crashes anyway, lucky for him. But while he's out in the woods trying to figure out where to go, he encounters a Yeti, and kind of has like a very like emotional like disturbance come across from having this Yeti experience. And then it fast forwards a little bit, and he shows him living a normal life in a small town under the name of a different person. And he kind of meets a woman, she's pregnant, they fall in love, they're kind of building their new life together. But he can't get this like experience with this Yeti out of his mind, and so he starts doing this research on it, and he learns all these different things. Meanwhile, he firmly believes that the Yeti is coming back for him, and he starts to kind of have a psychotic break prepping for this. It feels like Jamie Lee Curtis prepping for Michael Myers in the newest one, the Halloween like Ends kind of trilogy.
Yeah.
Like it feels like that first Halloween movie in that series where she's like prepping like this house forever. Like he even has like the under the like kitchen like counter basement like hiding space that he tries to hide everybody in. The Yeti comes back, my friends, and things happen. It gets crazy. Like there's so much to it. The interesting thing about this is done by Spectre Vision. And who is Spectre Vision, Dan?
Spectre Vision is Elijah Wood.
It's Elijah Wood's production company. So Elijah Wood and Daniel Noah own a production company, and they are putting out, this is like their first big cross into comics to actually like create something that they can then hopefully option into movies through their production company. It already has the production company's label on it, guys. So if you're like, hey, I want to spec on a book that I think might become a film, the one that the production company puts out, high opportunity that that's going to get turned into a movie. And the fact that it's Elijah Wood loves comic books. We've known Elijah Wood is a big nerd. He loves comics. And so the fact that he's like, hey, let's take our company and make some comics, this is going to see the light of day in film or television production at some point. And I just love Elijah Wood. Just Elijah Wood riding around on a scooter in Austin was always one of those, it was like part of your Austin bingo. Like seeing Elijah on his scooter or seeing Elijah at the grocery store was up there with seeing Ernie Hudson's DeLorean out and about. And Matt saw.
I guess I didn't realize that he was an Austin staple.
They're all Austin staples at the end of the day.
That's why they all do Rogan.
Yes, it is actually.
Ooh, Red Book.
Red Book. Ooh, you got excited. Are you a big Red Book fan?
I liked Blue Book.
Yeah? Have you jumped into Red Book
I haven't
yet?
read Red Book.
Oh my gosh.
Yet.
Okay.
Was it good?
Yes. So this is issue 2, Dark Horse, Tiny Onion, James Tynion. So Blue Book was all about the American alien stories. As you know, you're a big fan. It's all about all the things that were classified information that have slowly been released about things that happened. Well, Red Book is essentially going to all of the communist countries. And so issue 1 was some stories about things that happened in Russia. Issue 2 is Chinese stories of alien invasions. And because it is one was focusing on Russia, we heard a little bit of different things. 2 kind of gives us a couple of different focus points in it too, but it kind of follows along with a young boy who has a story of being abducted and just the experience he had. And then it tells us that it is actually one of the most interesting things about the story, because obviously we see alien abduction stories, we learn lots about them. Michael Avon Ooming drawing alien abduction stories is actually becoming a really cool thing to just see. Yeah. I love the way he does them. But one of the things that's interesting in here is, in most of the stories, they're the government covered it up, or the government didn't. Well, but in this, the Chinese government actually made it against the law to believe that aliens existed, and to believe that to have any of these stories. And so they kind of not only scrubbed everything. James even actually flat out writes in here at one point most of that doesn't even exist on the internet anymore. So he acknowledges hey, I'm a person telling you this story in here, and in his narration is a lot of that just doesn't exist. But he does go through a lot of the historical points of people even back in the early one of the earliest documented things about alien spacecraft is actually a painting that was done by a Chinese painter who had just finished a day of work, and then when they were walking back something blotted out the sun, and then they were oh look, the sun is rising again because something really bright came about, and when they looked up it was a spacecraft, and so they painted it. And so it's really fascinating because Chinese culture is so old to see all the different things throughout, and because it has been so classified. And then the backup stories, so we always get backup stories that are about cryptids in the Blue and Red Book stories, and in this one we see a story that is about 2 people that are fishing in the ice fishing in the Upper Peninsula, or ice hunting I guess I should say, in the Upper Peninsula, and one of them is adamantly telling the story of oh my god, I'm going to say it wrong if I don't look at the words in front of me when I say it, the loup-garou, which is the original werewolf, the French concept of werewolf, and their werewolf is that it doesn't actually need the moon to change, and it kind of can just change on command. And they tell you the history of how loup-garou can actually contain people's spirits and stuff like that. And so really fascinating werewolf story, and a little bit of French culture. Which we're drinking French wine right now, so it goes.
Hey, look at that!
I mean, what pairs best with that comic? This French wine. We've got Starship Godzilla issue 2 from IDW. IDW is putting Godzilla in whatever place they can right now, and in the best ways possible. This, they got the Kaisei era. They are launching the new era of Godzilla, and we talked about this last week, but that's kind of been a lot of what if humans could have harness the power of Godzilla and the kaiju in general. This one is a little more of your classic hijinks story, but also your,
I think you mean kaijinks.
But this is about a group of people who are, you know, they're those space thieves. They're very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque. They end up, the property that they steal is some kaiju eggs. They're supposed to be delivering them, but the ship gets damaged because of some, you know, again, like crazy things happening. And so they have to come back to their home base where the mom of the group is like, I guess I have to fix my ship because you messed it up. And she's like, y'all have to go make my bets then at the races while I do this ship fixing. And they're like, okay. Well, then it turns out that these like races essentially are like betting on kaiju. Like are kaiju gonna come and interrupt the races, and is everybody gonna die?
Oh, you can take odds on if the race will even finish?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's great. And so and she's like, okay, well, everybody's at the race. We're going to go get the parts. And what she means by that is she is going to go to everybody's like ships and cars while they're at the race, and she's going to steal parts off of them. This is like...
Wait, does this Godzilla book rip?
Yes, it does. It's so funny. I mean, this girl and Mama Bear would be, from Deluge would be friends. Yeah. Like, they would definitely, these are two mamas that would get along for sure. And, like, the young girl is like, I don't know what's happening, but I guess I'm just doing this now. It's so much fun. It does have a very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque feel, where the team has, like, that weird dynamic where everybody's kind of, like, from the different planets, and they're all, like, no, like, you've got your, like, serious one who's just trying to, like, do the mission, and then you've got your people who are, like, trying to learn, your up-and-comers, and we've got some kaiju eggs, like, coming down. So, Starship Godzilla, this is your fun Godzilla. Everything else is very serious. Like, the main Godzilla is kind of really launching that Kaisai era and giving us the G-Man and all the stuff they're doing. Godzilla Dead Zone is like, hey, here's, like, your human story, like, of, you know, what if people were obsessed with Godzilla and started a ritualistic cult around it. And this is your fun monster mash.
Godzilla in space.
Yes. But not Space Godzilla, which is a totally
No,
different
not Space
thing.
Godzilla, which is different.
It is different. We've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Casey Jones #2 from IDW as well. If you are following along with the Casey Jones story that's kind of been seen a little bit in the main Ninja Turtles proper, at the end of the Sophie Campbell run of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones was in the hospital because he got really, like, beat up during his battle. He ended up in a coma. Obviously, April and Raph are really upset about this, right? So Casey has just come to and has been let go, and April's been staying with him to make sure he doesn't get involved in all of the stuff that Casey vigilanteing needs to do. Well, Casey doesn't listen. When has Casey Jones ever been, like, a listener? And so he goes out one day because he feels like he needs to go on a mission. He ends up meeting a young mutant girl who says her dad has gone missing. He's like, I promise you I will find your dad. And now Casey is all wrapped up in the biggest scandal that is happening in New York City and Mutant Town that he could possibly get himself into. And he is teaming up with some of the biggest villains. If you read Night Watcher, he is teaming up with the very people that Jenica was taking down so that he can find out what happened to this dad. And of course, April discovers that that's happening, and now Raph knows about it, and now we got bromance issues, and it is a big mess. Like, this is, like, Raph and Casey, we don't see that as much in the stories, you know, since, like, Dead Bodies, like, we don't really see, like, or body counts, not Dead Bodies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles body count. We don't see, like, a lot of Raph Casey moments, and I'm glad that we're getting this in this story. And April is like, dude, I'm not going to watch you kill yourself. Like, you still have, like, you're stitching yourself up in the bathroom, and you just got out of the hospital for a coma. Like, boy, we're not doing this. Like, and so Casey, though, really feels like it's his job to look out for the little guys that can't look out for themselves. And, you know, he's got that, like, I've got to do something kind of mentality of that a vigilante has. So he's struggling a bit, trying to keep up with it. Twilight Zone issue 2 from IDW as well. Wow, that was a lot of IDW in a row. And this is completely done by Tom Scioli.
Front to back.
I'm so excited. This is such a crazy issue. This is a world of your wildest dreams. This is so much a perfect Twilight Zone moment. This is all about a group of people who are traveling through space, and they are supposed to be looking for, like, doing, like, that science discovery experience of, like, what's out there, where is it?
I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. I got too into the art. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's Tom. It's Tom's art. It's hard. It's hard not to. And so they are on this space quest to find things, and they find this planet, and literally every time one of them says something out loud or thinks it, it like exists. Like, they're like, oh, it'd be cool if we found some plant life or something, and suddenly like a bush is there, and then they're like, oh my god, look at that little critter, and they were like, kind of looks like a jackalope, and this guy's like, I was thinking about jackalopes, like. And it's like all this stuff happens, but it's always dangerous. And they end up having this like whole experience where like these aliens, like they find aliens and they're like attacking them, and they're like, why is this like immediately a war and violence? And then they end up on trial and all this stuff. And I don't want to tell you the twist, but I do want to tell you that seriously, Tom nailed it. Like, he nailed that Twilight Zone experience. Like, you feel like you could hear, like, Rob Sterling, like, narrating this, like, at the beginning and the end almost. And at the same time, you're like, the whole time you're like, oh my god, this is terrible, this is awful, this is wonderful, this is amazing. And you're like, this is Twilight Zone. It's so good. And the fact that it is that, like, cartoonist, you get that, like, heavy text that he's so known for. You get that, heavy, like, those big art, like, moments. There's so many good, like, just... where I'm like looking at this and I'm like, look at this, especially because this man does more panels than anybody ever on a page. What was it in GoBots that time, Matt? What did we count, like 54 panels on one page or something insane with GoBots #1 that he did?
I thought it was 25.
Okay, it was something like that.
It's still a lot.
It was insane.
Seeing the Fantastic Four grand design.
Yeah, we like sat there doing a book club one time when we read the GoBots issue, and we were just like, this is... how do you fit that many panels on a page? And they're like little tiny like microscope. I guess it's not true.
Hayden Sherman! I knew you would say that!
Hayden Sherman in Wasted
I
Space
think
has
it's
the
issue
record.
22 or 23
Yes.
that has that big
That
spiral.
big spiral of the teeny
craze.
tiny.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
they have the record for the most panels on one page.
If you have that omnibus.
I do.
Yeah. I love going from issue 1 to issue 25 there and watching Hayden find himself, and now seeing everything they're doing on Absolute Wonder Woman. It's just so great when cool people get to do cool things.
It is. Don't forget, CGC expanded that deadline, and you can get your Absolute Wonder Woman team signing books, and you still have time. So that's exciting. All right, we've got Minor Threats, The Last Devil Left Alive, issue 2 from Dark Horse and our friends Pat Oswalt and Jordan Blum. This is continuing the Minor Threats story proper. We have a lot of the spin-offs like Minor Threats and Archie, and some of the, like, we had the Welcome to Twilight City anthology and a lot. This is going back to kind of our main thing with Playtime and everybody. And so basically, this is post-Playtime being in charge. If you don't know the Minor Threats world, basically, superheroes exist, villains exist, and then we have our Minor Threats, who are all of our villains who are not so known and not so good. And over the course of the several arcs of this story, the minor villains have actually saved the day, have kind of become the people in power, and have already lost that power. And now there is a retail development person who is coming in and trying to claim all of the land that all of these minor threats live in, and are pushing the people out, pushing the villains out. Everybody's real mad about it. And so Playtime has come back after, like, you know, doing the I'm dead, I'm gone kind of thing, and is having to investigate this situation with their own very bad, not so crackpot team. And they are trying really hard to get it together. And we've got Barfly in this, which is all that really matters because Barfly's the best. And we're seeing the team try to rebuild itself. And in this issue, they are actually going after a former superhero who has been grounded by the government and told they're not allowed to use their superhero powers anymore. And we're kind of seeing, like, what would it look like for a team of villains who never quite made it to the top to go with, like, essentially, like, the Superman character who's been stripped of their powers, and how does that team up work? The powers that they come up with and the relationships that they build in Minor Threats just always amaze me. Like, anytime you ever think, like, there's no more powers we could possibly give a superhero or villain, Minor Threats is like, but here they are. Here's a character that is a giant lobster, and he has powers now. Like, and there's so many things. It's always great. I'd love to see what they come up with. And it's Patton Oswalt, so it's always hilarious at the same time. We have Mary Sue #2 from Boombox. This is such a great book, and I'm not just saying that because Lisa Stroll does the art, and I will always say that about whatever Lisa Stroll does, but it's just it's going to leave you feeling good in the end, no matter, like, when we get there, it's going to be beautiful. It's all about a young girl who has no friends, like, really in real life. Her former best friend has kind of abandoned her to become the popular girl. She's the nerdy girl that doesn't feel like she has anything going for her, except for the fact that she writes a fan fiction that is very popular on the internet. One day when she goes to school in issue 1, trying to, like, just fit in and blend in, she is being bullied by the people for writing fan fiction and them making fun of her, only to have the very character from her fan fiction show up at the school. And so this is now post that school experience, and they have come home. And I love this because her character is like, I'm going to ride a bike. I've never ridden a bike before. And she's like, do you know how to ride a bike? And she's like, it can't be hard. I'm sure I'll figure it out. After all, I'm a Mary Sue. And she's like, okay. And, like, her friends are like, you did create a Mary Sue. And she's like, turns around and the girl's like, look at me. And she's like riding the bike on one wheel, doing all these tricks. And they're like, how? She's like, how did she do that? And they're like, I mean, literally a Mary Sue can just learn a skill, like, without trying. And there's actually a really great conversation here because her mom is super religious and decides that she has to go to the church lock-in, and so she takes her character with her. And while they're at the lock-in, like, she's getting made fun of by the bully from school because she, like, that bully writes fan fiction too, and she's like, why do you make fun of me? And she's like, because you write a Mary Sue character. And Cassie, the fictional character, is like, you say that like that's a bad thing. And she was like, but a Mary Sue that is somebody who just has powers and doesn't have to learn anything and is just a bad, like, flat character, that's just bad writing. You didn't say that when Luke Skywalker was a Mary Sue. And I was like, ooh, heard that before. Used that line myself from when that's happened. But it's like they just keep going on and on. She kind of, like, explains, like, what a Mary Sue actually truly is and why we shouldn't judge the fact that, like, it's okay for men to suddenly just be good at everything in books, but when women are, it has to have a whole term and, like, we have to hate them for it. And so they actually dive into that in this issue, and I was like, yes, let's go. Also, I love that you're doing it at the church lock-in, and that the
man, they really designed this book for you in a lab.
Yeah, they really did. This issue specifically, I was like,
the church lock-in,
and her main character is a vampire girl, and I was like, okay, okay. I think
stop pitching, Boombox. Right? She's already buying.
Right, I think I wrote this fan fiction. So fantastic. Definitely going to be a great one. I think it's going to be one of those that, once it's in trade, it's going to be like a constant sell-through. But also, you got Lisa Stroll art, and she did the Modern Witch Tarot deck, and I don't know what else you need to know. We've got Marian Heretic issue 2 from Boom Studios. This is, actually, both of these 2 books are Katie picks. This is actually Katie's, like, store selection pick all the time. And it is such a fantastic book. Basically, there is a convent of nuns who, as with all nuns, worship the Virgin Mary, but the church has decided that that is sacrilegious because you should be worshiping the Trinity first and foremost, and Mary is just Immaculate Conception. She is not anything special because she's a woman, and to focus too hard on Mary is to basically, like, to commit heresy. And because there's so many witches, they're, like, convinced that they're also, like, these nuns are also witches. And so this one nun decides to sacrifice herself and becomes the enforcer for the church so that they'll leave the rest of her convent alone. And so she must go on these missions, and they basically assign her to attack other women who they are accusing of being witches. And she has, as at the end of issue 1 and coming into issue 2, she's kind of decided she's starting to doubt the church and starting to believe women, and we're starting to see that kind of open up in this issue a lot. Teeny Howard, she's crushing it in this book. I love it because the way it's drawn makes it look like it's like a full action-packed, like, action movie kind of story, like giving you those warrior nun Aurelia vibes. But in reality, like, when you read it, it's like, this is so much depth. Like, you've built out, like, a major lore. You're giving this character, like she's confronted by these witches, and they're like, we're not gonna help you. You're with the church. But then, like, the the Crusaders come in and they're like, oh, we're gonna take these witches out, and she's like, gotta make the choice, like, do I fight the Crusaders or do I fight the witches? And there's so many layers to what Teeny is saying that it's fantastic. The Guy in the Chair, issue 2 from Dark Horse. Issue 1 was one of my picks of the week. I still stand by that with issue 2. I just can't put every book in my picks of the week. This book is so much fun. This is your spy thriller where there's essentially an organization that is just like pay for hire, like agents and the guys in the chair, the people that's their handlers. And this follows a handler who has had the same operative in the field forever. They have the highest ranking scores because, of course, it's corporatized. So there's like scores for
you
how
gotta
well
hit
they
your
do.
Q4 numbers.
You gotta hit your numbers. And so this guy has the best numbers. Well, one day they decide to send his operative on a mission over the weekend when he's not there. And normally they would call him in, but they didn't. And something happens and she is like left for dead essentially on this mission. Well, in issue 2, we actually, like, issue 1 ended with her showing up at his house and being like, the operative is after me, like, this is bad. And he is like, oh my God. And so in this issue it picks up and we actually get to learn what went down on that mission and kind of start to see that maybe the organization they work for are the bad guys and not the good guys. And they kind of have to work together and build their own like world against this and kind of like fighting against this, figure out like what's real and what isn't. And it's great because in this issue she can't go anywhere because she's wanted, so she becomes the girl in the chair and he has to become the operative. I'm really excited to see where this goes. There's going to definitely be some great stuff. If you like spy thrillers at all, this book hits like all the points and gives you so much more. Like, it's like, oh, I really wanted this to be, like, you watch a spy movie and you're like, I really wanted a little bit more. This gives you the little bit more as the starting point and then builds from there. It's so good. All right, we've got a bunch of books launching this week, starting with Pecos Bill and the Guns of Oz, #1. As a Texan who's in love with Oz, having Pecos Bill get, like, this Western-like Oz is kind of hilariously amazing to me. Thank you, Keen Spot, for giving me...
I heard everything you said.
But you didn't believe it. But guess what?
Oh, God, they're shooting munchkins.
They are. So the tagline of this book is literally saddle up, let's get weird. And it totally is. So Pecos Bill, if you don't know the mythology of Pecos Bill, he would actually like wrangle tornadoes and ride them. I don't know how many people know that mythology. So Pecos Bill would wrangle tornadoes and ride them. Well, he does that, and
he rides it to Oz,
and he ends up in Oz. And they're like, "Oh, thank God, you can fight the evil wizard." And he fights like the Wicked Witch of the East or Leon. And they're like, "You can fight the Oz and his gunslinger, who, by the way, is just a giant T-Rex." And they're like, yeah, the gunslinger. And I'm like, okay, how is he fast? Their arms are so tiny. That doesn't make any sense. It's kind of absurd. It's kind of amazing. It's very much, if you read Stealing Oz from, oh my God, what is our friends that make comic books from, why can't I think of the name of this group now? The people from Kamikaze. What is the name of their publishing company? Bad Kids Press.
Bad Kids.
I was like, I'm getting there, but I'm staring at the Keen Spot word, and I'm not there. Bad Kids Press. If you read Stealing Oz from Bad Kids Press, it has a lot of that same kind of humor and fun. But he is going to go on this adventure. He hasn't met any of the characters. We just started in Munchkin Land, so we have not met. He did see flying monkeys, and he was like, what in the Sam Hill are those? It's great. It's like almost like mixing like a Looney Tunes and the Wizard of Oz together, because it's so absurd, but then you told it for adults. I don't even care where it goes. I'm already in. It's...
You know, I pitched a similar concept of using American mythological figures, kind of like Pecos Bill, but what I want to do was Paul Bunyan and Babe mashed up with Cowboys of Moo Mesa. With Babe being
the cowboy
of Moo Mesa, but it didn't,
story goes in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, they didn't want to do black bags, and it fell
and you're
apart.
out.
Yeah, I was like, forget what I said.
I was only here for the black bag.
This meeting is over.
Chris Sheehan is drawing them.
Chris, if you're out there, Cowboys of Moo Mesa meets Paul Bunyan.
Yeah. We got this. You definitely got this. We've got the Lion King issue 1 from Dynamite and their Disney imprint.
Is there a black bag?
I was gonna say there's a blind bag, but there's actually not.
It's just that one shot. You know the one.
You know the one.
You know the one from that movie.
This is actually interesting because the Lion King has always been like kind of really fast. Like, you know, there's like they just we wake up and we go out to the one call that Simba and Mufasa go on, and then they have a conversation, and then like the next day Simba goes into the hyena pit, you know, kind of thing. This actually makes it look like things actually happened and there was more to the story, which is really great. It does start out with them investigating the same thing that starts out in like the first scene in The Lion King. But then the next day when Simba's not able to go with them, Mufasa has to go on different, like he has to go do his kingly duties, and Zazu annoyingly is telling us what those are the whole time. And then we actually see that we learned that the cheetahs have actually been banned from the Pride Lands in this issue, because they overate, like they were killing for sport and not just for, and not just for what they were, not for sustenance. And so they were like, hey, like that's against the Pride Land rules. And so Mufasa, they cross into the Pride Lands. And Mufasa has to handle that situation and kind of setting up where this story is going to go. So it's going to be a little more Mufasa focused. I will say, knowing that though, I was like, why didn't the cheetahs just team up with Scar? I feel like they could have done much more damage than the hyenas. But we'll see. We'll find out, I'm sure, why they don't when we get to the end of the series. But I was already like, question.
So there were multiple different groups that Mufasa was putting the kibosh on.
Yeah, and the cheetahs are very upset about it, and we're going to see how that works out, because I feel like cheetahs and lions could actually go to war.
Mufasa, moo problems.
He's got ferocious #1 of Man Cave.
You knew who I was when you invited me on.
I did know what I was getting into. This is, I did this to myself. This is... all about a world where there's like these essentially like giant demon kind of people, and this all the villagers are always like afraid, and they don't really see them. They've kind of been told to believe that they're not real, like they're like a tall tale situation. And this kid comes in one day and he's like, I saw one in the river, and he actually like rescued them, and they're like, oh, okay, sure you did. And he's like, no, I really did. God. Well, he didn't tell everybody that he didn't like kill, like that he saved it, and this demon monster person shows up and slaughtered the whole town. And he's like, so what happened? And I can only say that because he kind of hints about it on the first page. And so he's kind of like, I have to, like, I did this, like, this is all on me. And they're so, like, he goes on this quest essentially for this vengeance against this creature, because he's like, I caused everybody in my town to die. It's very, like, there's so much action in this one, and yet the last, like, 4 pages, like, completely changed the whole tone of the book, and I'm like, ooh, okay, where are we going with this? And I'm so very curious, because there's gonna be so much that comes into the story, and I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, put that one in a different pile. I want to read that. You did a good job.
Thanks. All right. Tyler Kirkham is writing now.
Woohoo.
Yeah, not just artist Tyler Kirkham anymore. Now writer, with Final Boss #1 from Image Comics. And look at all these, like, Rex, man, Kyle Higgins, Tony Daniel, Ryan Otley, John Lehman, Ben Percy, like
Tony Fleeks.
Oh my gosh,
Tony Fleeks.
Yeah. Everybody's loving this book. And so, you're going to too, but you also get Tyler on, like, he's co-arting, and I'm like, that's good, because you got a cool thing. But this is all about a guy, who has he kind of has a chip on his shoulder, but he's also kind of looking for this, like, way to make this money, and he's trying to build up, and so he does all these fights. Final boss, obviously. He does these fight ring kind of situations, and he's basically told by one of his friends, like, hey, just so you know, there's a big fight coming up that the champion's contender fell out. You should take this fight. And he's like, oh, I'm not ready for that. And they're like, hey, even if you don't win, like, the recognition will get you, like, better spots in the fight ring. He also does these, like, sub jobs where he takes money from people to, like, go rough people up. Well, he was always told by people, by his grandfather, about this like island that he discovered during one of the wars. And when he was on this island, he found this big hidden temple. And in that temple, he had to fight a god. And in fighting the god, he earned this power that this god had of like this fighting, and that grandfather gave him like the amulet when he was 10 years old. And he always thought like my grandfather was just crazy and he had like PTSD or something. None of this is there. Well, he gets into this fight with this guy who is absolutely the most vicious fighter that you have ever seen. Like this guy needs to be the guy Battle Beast is fighting over here. And so he's like, I'm not going to make it. And suddenly he just like has this experience where he's like, maybe grandpa's not so crazy. Definitely opens up a really big world. We're going to see a lot. We're probably going to learn essentially at some point what was in that temple. We're going to see him kind of grow into this character and what he is. But definitely a great start. And for like, you know, I didn't know what to expect with Tyler Kirkham coming in and like telling a story, because we're so used to just like him as an artist. And so it was really cool to see what he had and where he's going to go with that. We've got This Circus, Losing Control, #1 from Dark Horse. This is, I believe, an adaptation of the, like, or at least something in the world of the author that's on here is a novelist, a French novelist, and this is, I believe, the, not necessarily, I don't know if it's an adaptation or if it's just a new story in there, but this is all about a woman who works for a spy agency, and she is essentially like what they call the mothers, and basically all their guys in the chairs are women who essentially act as mothers to these operatives, and she has the ultimate guy that is just like the guy for all the missions that they send out, but he's also like the most elusive because he is so high up, and she's one of those that has to know knows all of his like forethoughts and everything before it, but because he's so high up, everybody's gunning for his position in this world. And so one day she gets a call that a bunch of people want to go after him essentially, and she goes to his office to see if he's there, and he has like this secret office that you have to go through all these weird places to get through, and he's gone. And not only is he gone, but he is like missing gone, like somebody took him, something happened to him, and she finds herself like, if they find out that he's missing, like they're going to take his job, she's going to lose her job, who knows what's going to happen. And so she basically has to work as an operative to try to figure out what happened to him and to keep everybody off the trail. And so she starts doing her own investigation. Like she finds a cell phone that he started to type a text message on but never sent. So she's like, that was a message, and it's to her. So she's like, I know this is a message like for me. And he didn't send it because he wouldn't want it to be on record anywhere. And so she's got all this knowledge from being like the guy in the chair for so long that she makes a really like overly prepared, agent. It's Matt Kent writing it. So if anybody can write a spy thriller story and get you hooked immediately, it's definitely Matt Kent. And this is definitely one of those moments where I was like, I'm already in. And because she is so like woman in her 40s business suit kind of lady. And she's just, it's so great. It's so good. We've got Capes, issue 1 from Image, Skybound, and your Energon universe, or not your Energon universe, your Invincible universe. Oh my God, I'm so used to saying that.
Yes.
Skybound and your Invincible universe. This is interesting because it is when Omni-Man is like, this isn't like, Omni-Man doesn't have kids yet. He's not like, we're not in Mark's world. This is kind of following the people of like Cape Incorporated or whatever it is. Yeah. Capes Incorporated, before they actually like get really like big and before anything's happened, like and so this is following them as new missions are coming up and about, and they bring in Kid Thor, who's just like a new person that's going to be working with them, and he's like the new guy on the scene, and they're training him, and he has this really cool story, and his partner's like, yeah, I don't have a story like that, dude. He's like, have you ever seen Phenomenon with John Travolta? And the kid's like, no. And he's like, okay, well, it was a really good movie, and that's kind of how I got my powers, except for I didn't get super smarts. I got superpowers, like super strength. And he was like, well, then why'd you call yourself Bolt if it wasn't a lightning strike? And he's like, well, when I came on, Capes Incorporated told me that like all of the strong black superheroes that people knew had lightning-themed names. And I was like, I never thought that until right now.
You never thought that?
Like that storm and all of that. Like I never put that in there.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Storm, Black Lightning,
Yeah.
Static Shock.
Yeah. All of them. And they list all of them. So it was like really interesting. Like they went on for
It's
a
a
while.
trope for
It is definitely
some reason.
a trope.
Oh, yeah.
And he kind of talks about that a little bit. But anyway, we set up a whole new story in that Invincible world. And like where they haven't, like where it's them. It's like those people, that original generation. Like what were they up to? What did it look like? This is going to bring us a new world, a new bunch of characters and all the things that they had to go through. And we've got some new villains shaping up already. Or maybe old villains that, you know, were retired by the time we came around. And then lastly, before we get to Picks of the Week, Josie and the Pussycats are back with their own annual spectacular, always my favorite. The first story in here is our new one, written and drawn by Dan Parent. And it's all about Alexandra Cabot wants to get into a performance at this exclusive new club, and she's very upset because she doesn't know how to sing or play music, and Josie and the Pussycats won't let her in, so she ends up teaming up with the Southside Serpents, and they're so bad that they bring out literally the devil. Like, the demons come out highly offended by their terrible music, and it's quite hilarious. And then the rest of it, because we always get multiple stories, is actually just reprinting of the entire an entire story of them at a dark ghost-like mansion where the girls are looking for a place to practice, and they end up getting assigned a place from the Cabot's dad in this old abandoned house that he can't sell, where he tells them they can go, and of course they experienced all the ghostly things that are there, and they solve a very Scooby-Doo kind of caper. And then there's just another little fun story in the back. So if you're a fan of Josie and the Pussycats, as always, these annual spectaculars are just a great way to get some good stories.
Have you heard the rumors about the new Archie stuff?
No.
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay, what is this? This
This
man is bringing another bottle of wine.
Do you open wine, too?
Yeah.
Without knocking it off the counter?
Oh, it's a twist.
Hold on. Let me.
Oh,
No, give me the key. Give me the key.
Is it Esteban?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Esteban? Yeah,
It's
it's just a
Esteban.
twist.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fancy over here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got it.
Nails it. This is Esteban Martin. This is a Grenache Shiraz. This is a Spanish-French mix. Look at the man washing his glass. I love that. It's
the only way I'll hydrate, Shannon.
Perfect timing, because I was about to start talking about picks of the week, and this wine is always one of my picks of the week. This is one of my favorites. It's just so good. We liked it so much that Matt bought an entire case. And so, drink up, enjoy.
Well, let's get to the picks of the week.
Okay.
Or do I need to talk about
taste
the wine?
that one. I mean, you can tell everybody what it tastes like while I get my picks of the week in order.
Wine. I really like that, actually. Hold on.
I was like, he did such a long wine introduction earlier.
It's so light, but not in the way that, like, a Pinot Noir, like, insults me with its lack of depth. It's clean.
Yes.
A little more acidic, kind of tanniny, but you know what I want? I want to make a spicy red sauce. I want to make a puttanesca and add some of this to it, cook that off, and then serve this with it. That's what I want.
You can do that. You're here all week.
Actually, yeah. We can go to the grocery store tomorrow. I will make this tomorrow night.
We're not going to the grocery store tomorrow. We're going to Busch Gardens.
We're going to Busch Gardens!
Yay! All right.
I feel like you just want a prize.
I know. He's like, yay!
My prize is that I'm here. If you've never been to Bat City, take the trip. I spent a lot of time in the air, a little bit of money to come here, and I'm very glad I did it. This place is comic book wonderland. I've seen videos, I've seen pictures. It blew me away walking in person. So I'm having the time of my life. I'm sorry I'm a disruptive presence, but I'm having so much fun right now.
I invited you, like you said, I knew
you
what
knew
I was
who
getting.
I was.
I knew what I was
You've
doing.
seen me present. You've seen me do panels. You know what I'm like. We just did a panel together.
We did, and we got hijacked by Scott Snyder, which was the best.
Scott Snyder crashed our panel.
He did.
And
It
our
was
moderator
fantastic.
was right over there.
Right over there, Mr. Alex Scola. Yeah, and we all got hijacked by Scott Snyder, who was here in Florida at Universal Studios, ironically. So
funny.
Full circle.
There we go.
Ironically, we were paneling about social media, and here we are.
Picks of the week. Picks of the week. I don't know. Is there a song for that?
There used to be. There's not
Okay.
anymore. We've got Terabytes issue 2 from Mad Cave. I'm really enjoying seeing this like crazy situation going on here. But this issue was just so much fun. But
what's this book about? I have not
So,
heard of this at all.
this is like it's kind of a sci-fi like anthology of terrible things that could happen. But they're all like
terror bites.
terror bites. Mhm. And so
I love the wordplay.
I'm really here for the concept in this issue. So basically, this guy in this issue is told by who's like always down on his luck, like has like the dead end job, like delivering pizza, like he can't, and he's bad at it. Like it's not that delivering pizza is a dead end job, but it is when you can't get a pizza on time and it's always cold and terrible and like nobody tips him. And so his friend's like, hey, do what I did. I just signed up for this app where you're helping like train AI like based on human behaviors, and like every time you do it you get like a little bit of money. And the guy's like, isn't that a bad idea to train like the robots to take over Skynet? And he's like, yeah, but then this guy has no friends, so he goes home and he does it, and then he just becomes like best friends with this AI. And every time you tell the AI a secret, and like the darker or better the secret is, the more money they give you. And then the AI kind of like, you see more and more people like in the background, like you kind of see in this picture, like more and more people like on their phones, and they're all like getting this money. And then the AI is like, do you want a gun? You should get one. You should stand up for yourself. And like starts like telling the people to like do all of these things. And the guy's like, the AI is like, he's like, well, why would I stand up to them? They're my only friend. And they're like, I'm your only friend. I think they're lying to you. And so it got like really dark, like, and really crazy. And so I was literally like, with this one, I was like, at first I was like, no, I don't know how I feel about it. And then I like sat on it for a minute, and I was like, the unsettlingness of that and the reality of like, this is probably already happening was like, no, this is terrifying.
Yeah, it says right here, based on the experience of using Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, it kind of felt like you could see that this would happen. And like the way that it wraps up, because it is one shot, because it's everything with Terabytes is like these aliens are like these and robots and things like that are like evaluating a city that they've like come across. And so they're like finding different stories of these humans. And so this is like, how did humanity destroy itself? And each issue is a different like thing that we might have done to destroy ourselves that these like robots from the future found. And so this is that.
Kind of
and I'm
Love,
like,
Death and Robots kind of
yeah,
vibe.
I'm like, well, this one feels the most accurate, and it's absolutely crazy. And so if you didn't pick it up yet, again, standalone completely, you should definitely check it out, and kind of be terrified, and yet also like you almost see easily how it gets there, and also like you see like this is that like nice guy like situation. All right, I don't know how much of this issue I can show. I can't even really, I'm gonna hold the cover like in a way that covers things. This is Aerotech issue 1, and I actually need to turn it around to even know who the publisher is on it. This is, oh yes, SHP.
Oh.
And this is the most adult book that I'm ever going to probably put in the picks of the week. But I am not even putting it in there for any of the reasons you would think. So basically, to tell you as much as I can about this book on Facebook without getting kicked off of Facebook, this is about a company that makes sex robots. And the beginning is, the cold open of this is hilarious, because it's not going well. Like the robot that they've created is having a lot of problems, and they're not sure that they're going to be able to get the launch of this new robot like on the market in time. And so when they go to have the meeting, it's the woman in charge, the person in charge of product development is a woman, and she goes into this corporate meeting. This is actually why this book is a pick of the week for me, is because she goes into this corporate meeting to pitch her thing, and she's like, I think we should make robots for women. And they're like, well, but then you'd have to buy two so you can watch them together. Like, why would we do that? That's too much money. Nobody's going to do that. And she's like, why are we discrediting an entire market? And then they're like, anyway, and they all just start talking and they ignore her. And one guy's like, can I ask you a question? She's like, this is my first slide. No. Like, no, nobody is asking any questions. And so I love it because this is a company that, and a story that you would think is going to be like very male driven. But all of the male characters are actually kind of ridiculous whiny babies, and this woman is just
like real men.
So this woman is trying so hard to just like be a successful, confident woman in an industry that she's good at, and they don't trust her to do it. Like, they're showing up and they're like running over her meetings, and she's trying to do like the samples. She's staying up all night drinking wine, planning new programs for them to do, and it's absolutely fantastic. And I was like, as a woman, I love this book. And
who stays up late drinking wine, conquering your industry. Yeah.
And so it was one of those where I have to hold this over this one spot that is against Facebook rules. And not only that, but I love books where you get like in-world ads. And this book has all the in-world ads for all of the things that they do. Like this
the
one,
back cover one is great.
I know. I actually can show you that one, so I'll put it on the back. The back cover is fantastic because it's all the things that you can get. This is one of those books I put in the picks of the week because I was like, nobody is going to think like this is a thing that you should like. You know, like, they're going to think, like, oh, is this, like, a misogynistic book? Is this just a sex story? Like, it is none of those things. And SHP has definitely, like, this is another new publisher this year that we're seeing. And like, two opposite extremes. Like, this is their mature line. And then their other big book that we're talking about is Ziki. The story of the little 4-year-old who is like going into his imaginary world and like fighting the Rat King. And so I love a publisher that can give me both like a mature and an all ages title that are both emotionally driven as their first two big books out of the gate. So thank you, SHP, for a fantastic story that reminds us that women in business know what they're doing and we should listen to them.
Period.
And then lastly, speaking of women telling us what we need to know, we've got issue 17 of Sacrificers from Image Comics and Giant Generator. This is Rick Remender's imprint. This is also, honestly, to me, the best thing Rick Remender has ever done. And that is a bold statement that I will stand by. This is so freaking good, and we are 17 issues in, and I can't tell you how many of them have made the picks of the week, but if Anthony Pizzo is watching, he can, because he tracks everything I say on this show for me. What I love about this is Rick Remender literally says at the end of this, that this is the kind of issue that you would leave as your arc cliffhanger for your trade paperback, that you would make a reader wait a year before they got the next issue. And this is part 2 of this arc. And it is so good. So if you don't know the Sacrificers world, grab the first couple of trades and get into this all at once. But this is a world where essentially there are gods, and the way that the gods contain their immortality, because they're not actually immortal, is they make every creature on the planet, because they're all anthropomorphic, beings, they make them all raise a child just to be a sacrifice. And when it gets to a certain age, the gods collect it and they take it and they steal their essence and turn it into a drink that the gods drink, and that gives them their youth back so that they can continue living. And very early on in the series, one of our sacrifices learned that that's what was happening and went against the gods and had essentially the Hades kind of god helping him along the way. Well, the daughter of the sun and the moon gods was attacked very early on as well by the person who makes the potion, and part of her essence was stolen. And as the story has gone on, those paths have crossed, and she has basically she has been the one saving children and people who are being attacked in this world from the gods. And so she's kind of seen what it's like to live as one of these creatures that's being abused by the people with all of the power. And kind of having your life just be nothing but sacrificial to the people who are this 1%. And because this is very much like a cliffhanger issue. I don't want to show you the second half. This book gets better every issue, and that is hard to do when you hit these like 17 numbers. Like that's usually your low point in a book. And when I got into this issue, I was like, whoa, did Rick Remender just go back on everything that we've done? Like, did he just go in a direction that like totally negates everything he did? And then he twists and turns and twists and turns and twists and turns. And I was like, I literally like, I read the issues and I always like make a little pile of like, what is my favorite book of the week? And I literally like this book immediately went in that pile. And then I was like, everything else gets piled to the side of it. Because this I don't want anybody else in the same pile until I've had time to like ruminate on all of the other people, because Sacrifice is just so good. And there is not enough conversation about this book or Giant Generator in general, because Rick Remender is putting out through Giant Generator, like Dust to Dust is coming out on that imprint, and that is a phenomenal book. Like he did Napalm Lullaby on Giant Generator. Rick Remender has and he's not writing or doing anything with Dust to Dust other than editing it as the imprint head. But there's a lot going on this imprint, and I don't think we're talking about it enough. Do
you have the trades?
I think I might have one. I might be sold out. I think I told Katie that we were sold out earlier, so we might be sold out, but they are available still, so we need to get more in stock, because I love this book and we need more people to be falling in love with this book, because Rick Remender has a lot to say in a really pretty way. And I was telling Katie today, like, if you like fantasy, it'll work for you, and if you like sci-fi, it might work for you. But if you are like, I want to just fall into this great story that's very character driven, like, this is definitely a book that you have to read. And it has so much to say. It's always so good. Anyway, we're out of it, right? We have 2 and 3. We need to get 1. Anyway, those are my picks of the week. All right, I'm going to go...
Pizza says the Sacrifice has been pick of the week twice. Since he started tracking this year.
Wow, since you started tracking this year? Wow. Okay, see, I told you guys I'm kind of obsessed with that book. And it won a Batastic Award the first year it was out for the best fantasy category, I think. I really like that book. All right, we've got other books in stock this week, and I'm going to fly through them really fast. These are not the ones. Yeah, this is our lightning round.
Let's go.
Batman and Deadpool did a thing. This is the second half of your Marvel DC crossover. First time in over a decade that they've crossed over together. But most importantly, Jenny Frison did a thing.
And Hayden Sherman did a thing.
Woo! Yeah. I love this. If you, there's so many stories in this that are a lot of fun. You definitely need to pick it up. If you didn't get a copy, we still have some left. But not many, so hurry today. Vampirella issue 6, which is Legacy number 681. I just love, and I'm going to say their name wrong, and we just looked it up, because it's also French. Elias Chateaudet does the best Vampirella covers. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with them every time. We've got Last Wolverine issue 2 from your Age of Revelation. We've got Punisher Red Band issue, I think also, 3. Wow, we're already on 3. Nova Centurion issue 1, if you have... If you were a fan of Imperial, I know we kind of had a little bit of Nova come through there, and now we have that. But again, the most important thing, and honestly, I love that Imperial's bringing back characters, because we've got Nova back, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Imperial brought back the Inhumans. That's really all I care about. Masters of the Universe, The Sword of Flaws 2. Mark Spears Monsters number 1 got a 6th print. 6th print. Love it. Critical Role, The Vox Machina Origins. This is a Series 1, Issue 6. X-Men of Apocalypse, Issue 1. I don't even think that's the right one. Radioactive Spider-Man, Issue 2, also part of our Age of Revelation. Unbreakable X-Men, Issue 2. Omega Kids, Issue 2 from the Age of Revelations by our friend Tony Fleece. Absolute Flash number 9. Don't want to scare you all. You didn't miss an Absolute Batman issue. Don't worry. Batman Superman World's Finest issue 45. Chip Zdarsky's Captain America hits issue 5. One World.
Let a Canadian write that.
and he's killing it.
I know.
One World Under Doom issue 9, which I believe is the wrap up of that.
Yep.
Godzilla is still beating up Marvel right now, and this is issue 5 of that. Justice League Red, aka Justice League Dead, is issue 4. New Gods number 12. Ron V writing New Gods.
This is his wrap up, yeah?
I believe so.
Yeah. The prophecy fulfilled.
That does sound like the end. Nightwing issue 132. Predator kills the Marvel Universe issue 4. All new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider also hitting issue 4. Marvel's determined for you to start calling your Ghost Spider. Just do it. The kids will be happier if you just start calling your Ghost Spider. Or Ghosty. Spider-Man had a Holiday Spectacular issue 1. Amazing Spider-Man issue 16. Superman Unlimited issue 7. The Ultimates hit issue 18 as we work towards Ultimate Endgame. And then Wonder Woman issue 27. That's so great. And just in case you didn't grab a copy yet, we still have a couple left, and I mean a couple literally, of Mark Russell's Thanksgiving. This is a one-shot from Ahoy Comics about just the absolute worst thing that you could possibly have a relative admit to you on Thanksgiving. It's fantastic. If you haven't read it, I don't know what else you need to know other than the fact that it's actually a Thanksgiving story. It's from Ahoy, and Mark Russell wrote it. That's pretty much all.
3 strikes, I'm in.
Yes. And then we've got some trade paperbacks. Endless Night from Mad Cave is out this week. If you didn't read Endless Night, that is the combination of all of the Underworld, which was Revelation 9. Oh my gosh. I'm going to do this. I'm going to mess it up. It is Revelation 9. That's not even on here. It doesn't even tell me, does it? No. Exit City, Revelation 9, and Hour of the Wolf. Ha! I did it. That's not on there.
Yeah.
We've got the first volume of Absolute Martian Manhunter in both hardcover and trade paperback. I know. And new DC Compact out this week with Web or We3, depending on how you want to read it. As long as you get the book, it's only $9.99.
You can put that in my stack over there.
Also, publishers, one more time. We love the size, or I should say, we like the size, but we love the price. It's the $9.99, not the compact, that sells these. Just for the record, we're seeing so many publishers starting to make compacts, but they're still $15, which is $15 to $19 is the cost of a regular trade paperback. We don't want them for $15. We want them for $9.99, and readers are picking these up and willing to try them because they're only $10. So, $10 if you're making a compact. Let's go. Let's get readers excited about books. We've got volume 4 of Geiger, which is, I believe, going to have, this is the story of Ashley Arden, the glowing woman, who is one of the best new characters in the Geiger world. We've got some, for all of you Kirkman fans, there's some compendiums from your Invincible universe out this week, which includes Astounding Wolfman and Tack Jacket. This is going to be, if you are a fan of the Kirkman world, this is more Kirkman for you. If you're fans of Invincible and you've been waiting for more Kirkman, you got to do this. I was on actually, did you know that Aubrey Sitterson wrote on this one? Aubrey Sitterson wrote.
Aubrey wrote on that.
Aubrey wrote chapter 7 and 8 of this book. That's awesome. Way to go. Shout out to Aubrey. I was on a call recently with Joe Keating, and I was telling him that everybody had been asking me if Tech Jacket was going to come out again. And I was like, yeah, there's a compendium coming out. And Joe was like, that's fantastic. Who are these people? And I was like, everybody. All of the Invincible fans have been asking us for Tech Jacket. And so I'm so excited that we're starting to see like the love for Tech Jacket re-rise. We're going to do these last. From Living the Line, we've got the new graphic novel Harpy, which anything from Living the Line always looks really cool, so I got to show you some of that art. This is a futuristic, terrifyingly awesome book that's going to have some major retro futuristic. Oh yeah. Living the Line, man. They know their packaging, they know their storytelling. They're so good. We got Purgatory Funeral Cakes, which is funeral cakes are the final gift from the living to their departed loved ones and the only comfort for their journey to death. And this just looks like I'm gonna cry when I read it, and I can't wait to cry. I love crying when I read books.
Come get the tear-stained edition.
Right. Seriously. This is one of the Comixology originals from Mad Cave. This is Socrates, which is a graphic novel for fans of history and biography, and it's the first time it's been put in print. And it takes place in Greek in 399 BC as Socrates is sentenced to death. We're doing great tonight, guys.
No.
Follow 2.
I haven't had any of that. I'm still on like my first 1.5 glass.
I'm the only one who spilled any wine tonight. So
I just dropped the book. You were grabbing them, and I don't know why I let go. I thought it would just magically fall into your hands. And not lastly, Animal Pound. This is so fantastic. Finally collected from Boom Studios. It's the whole series. This is a Animal Farm reimagining in American culture, and it takes place in a pound. So it is dogs, cats, and rabbits. And holy crap, if you did not read this, this is the one book that I'm surprised Tom King has gotten away with putting out, with like him having like the CIA background and them being so particular. I cannot imagine that he actually, like, it still blows my mind that he put it out. It is so good. If you didn't read it, it's some of Tom King's best writing. And then lastly, I am so excited. This is one of the best moments of my year. Years ago, Gilliam March put out a book called Carmen, and it never came out in anything but hardcover. Like, it had single issues and then went straight to hardcover, and they never put out a paperback. And for the first time since, 2021, this is finally in paperback form, and I am losing my mind. I'm so excited. This is about a woman who is about to take her own life, and an agent of death shows up to kind of It's a Wonderful Life, her experience, and they travel to the world in some of the most gorgeously beautiful art. It's so wonderful. I love this book so much that year that this book came out, this was my Halloween costume. And so seriously, I'm obsessed with it. If you haven't read it, now's your chance to get it, because it is in paperback for the first time. You can enjoy it as much as I do, and I hope that you do, because it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and the story is just as beautiful as the art, and everybody should read it. Everybody, all of you. Okay, that's it. That's all the comics we have. We talked about them all. But guess what? We can talk about comics for forever. And we're going to on Wednesday when you come to the shop. Remember, we open at 11 a.m. If you come down to the shop, we are going to be celebrating the launch of Arcadia. And Dan, tell the people what they win if they show up.
if you show up, just give me your name, you're going to get an entry. If you show up and buy Arcadia #1, you get 2 entries. If you show up and subscribe, you get 3 entries, all right? The winner is going to get every single cover of Arcadia 1, all the covers of the Cold Open, a signed print from the Miranda Brothers, 2 different enamel pins, and then I'm going to take your t-shirt size and I'm going to send you a t-shirt.
Whoa. That's actually like a crazy prize. Like, nobody ever gives you that much stuff. And all you have to do is show up. You just have to come to the store.
No purchase necessary.
What?
My lawyer told me it was necessary to say that and provide that option.
Yay! You get an option no matter what. You get an entry and you get an entry.
And I got a bunch of little swag things I'm going to stick in subscriber boxes. So if you haven't been subscribing but you've been coming into the store, what is the matter with you? Get a box.
Yeah.
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 Because then you get free stuff.
It's
I'm
true.
Just hide in there. And if you're subscribed to an Ignition book, I've got even more free stuff for you.
Yeah.
So.
It's going to be great.
I don't know why I'm being confrontational. It's not really my vibe. I apologize. Please, you should subscribe, though. It's a good thing to do to support your store. That was very aggressive. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. If you're not subscribed, I get it, but...
And that's why you're here at Bad City, where everything is friendly.
It's not a character.
Dan will also be here all day on Wednesday, not only for that, but starting at 6 p.m., Dan and Alex will actually be doing portfolio reviews. And Alex, if you weren't watching at the beginning of the show, is actually part of the Square Enix team. And so he is going to be checking out your portfolios, telling you all kinds of good stuff. Do you want to run around the thing and say hi? Show go this way. There's secret pathway.
You need to bring wine. You can't come back if you don't have wine.
I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
It's fine.
He's never going to make it back here.
I'm gonna get there.
There you go. See, look.
Oh, look! It just arrives.
It does. That is how it works.
Hi guys.
Hello,
It's
Alex.
so good to
You
see
arrived
you.
while we were doing the show. It's really hard to not just tackle you.
Aren't these guys the best? Aren't they the best? But yeah, no, we are really excited for Wednesday.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. And remember, no pitches.
No
Just-
pitches. No pitches. Come with questions. Come with your work. Whatever you want to talk about, we're going to give people dedicated chunks of time.
Yeah.
No pitches. Swear to God.
Yeah.
Please.
But come and bring your portfolio. If you're like, I don't have a portfolio yet, but I just want like starter advice, bring your sketchbook. Bring what you got, because they want to see it. You're going to check in with me that day. You're going to get a chance to talk to them. It's going to be a lot of fun. Remember that we are closed Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday we will be back for Small Business Saturday, where we will have our $1 sidewalk sale with all the comics. We have no idea what's in the boxes. Come out, support local business, and have a lot of fun. We will see you in the shop on Wednesday for all of that excitement. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and of course, happy reading.